Behrens was superbly strong, sprinting against Sverchek into the finish line. Sverchek had finished in the bronze medal position a year before, and he got the silver behind Behrens in 2024. Let's take a look at today's course. It's the same course that we just saw in the junior race, if you joined us for that. But this time the riders take on 11 circuits. The key climbs are Kigali Golf and Kimihurura. We've seen dynamic and attritional races so far on this circuit. Let's see how this race goes. The sprawling outskirts of Kigali. We're looking forward to bringing the riders now to the start line. They're all lined up to my left-hand side in the sunshine and getting their last little bits of instruction before the race gets going. A lot of climbs for these riders today. So 22 different climbs. Here's the rundown of the commissaires who will be looking after the rules this afternoon. A long day for the judges, taking 2 races on board. In the background, the tea plantations. And let's take a look at the start list. We've got 118 riders from 56 different nations over this race distance of 164.6 kilometres. Well, we'll introduce the riders as this race gets underway and work out which nations are making the moves, which ones want to try and take today's race victory. You can spot your favourite rider, favourite nation as we work our way through. And then we'll turn our attention for the race start. So we're right in Kigali for today's race, and we're looking forward to seeing how it progresses. We've got used to the different geography of this particular country and the landscape. We're at 1,500 metres. Rwanda's landscape goes up to 4,500 metres above sea level. We've talked about it as a land of 1,000 hills. It's got 5 volcanic peaks, 23 lakes, loads of rivers. And we're now kind of going towards rainy season. Rainy season starts in October to November. And the average temperatures here in the country between 21 and 28 degrees. Of course, it's the source of some of the headwaters of the River Nile. So it was a very important area for explorers who came here to explore the Nile River. Cycling here is growing all the time. The Tour of Rwanda, of course, is the biggest race that is held. It's grown steadily into one of the most respected events on the African calendar. It was first held in 1988 as a national competition. Everybody now welcomes all the continental riders to see the Tour of Rwanda. Became part of the Africa Tour in 2009. So the riders getting ready. Signing on the Rwandan team, Austria with their one representative, Marco Schrettel. This is Balint Feldhofer of Hungary. Eritrea, well, they had a good performance in the men's junior race. Here's the Eritrean team getting themselves ready. Awa Taman, Hebron Bahan, Yol Habteb.
That means racing is on.
Nikolaus Micheli and Javier Munageta. This is the Czechia team. Portugal getting ready. Gabriel Baptista, Daniel Lima, Lucas Lopez and Daniel Moreira.
Waiting for the start.
Slovenia, their team, signing the backdrop. Get ready for the race. Nice matching orange shoes. Ecuador about to sign on. One representative from Ecuador. And here's the Belgian team. Aaron Dox, Camille Lehmann, Tim Rex, Jasper Skoofs, and Weirda. Well, everybody's finished the men's junior race. Tried to find a quick bit of lunch and then got back in the cars and behind commentary positions and all that, ready for this under-23 road race. Jose Manuel Pelaez, the UCI Vice President, is going to drop the flag today on the race. He was honoured yesterday in the UCI Congress.
6 kilometers on the course here around Kigali. We are 1 minute,
That's the Belgian team getting ready. Hydration is everything today on this course. You need to make sure that you don't miss bottles, you keep your feeding going. MC Brian, the voice of the Tour of Rwanda, getting these fans wound up ready for the race.
30 seconds,
Real concentration. 118 riders dreaming now of being the world champion in a few hours' time. Well, the average speed of the junior race was over 40 kilometres an hour. What are the under-23s going to do? How are they going to take this on? 11 laps of racing.
10 seconds, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Men's under-23 World Championship road race underway. 118 riders of 56 nations and roll out of the starts. Neutralised section as always for the riders to get the chance to settle in. The vehicles going past me now, past the commentary position as they pull away. All the team cars of all the different riders and nations. The neutral service cars have gone as well. And here's the front of the lineup. The German team seem keen to be right at the front. And not pushing like the junior race was. There was a real forcing of the pace by a number of different teams at the front as we rolled away for the junior race. This time it looks like the commissaires are driving the lead car a lot more steady, and the under-23 is not prepared to push it quite as much. We are adding another 50 kilometres to the race, so it will make a massive difference. Another 50k is another different situation for these riders. United States have got 2 riders in here, Cole Kessler and Avon Boyle. Avon Boyle, the rider, wears number 70, Cole Kessler wears number 71. United States had a good opportunity in the junior race. They had some very, very good riders indeed, as we told here to just keep calm into this left-hand turn. We had a few crashes in the junior men's race. Let's hope we don't get the same. Clearly this is a course now that we recognise is really good for the climbers. But you also need plenty of power. We look at Celia Jerry, a great cyclocross rider, yesterday. She just looked composed for the entire race. Kilometre 0 and the men's under 23 World Championship is underway. Let's see what the pattern of this race is. It might give us some indications for the elite races over the weekend. It's a smaller peloton, 118 riders, 56 nations compared to the junior race, but the first attacks start to happen at the front. First moves of the day. Turkey represented, Poland represented. Just trying to get into the moves. Big acceleration, more nations trying to attack. Maybe you recognise that you can end up with breakaways that go forward and ultimately it might pay off. So Turkey in this breakaway right at the front, the first attackers on today's under-23 world title. Trying to come across now is the Kazakh rider, and that is Dias Rizbey. It's just a bit in no man's land. Three riders settling in. Great to see the UAE represented right at the front of the race already. Decided to get in the attack. And here's our chaser. So Mohammed Al-Alayli is the rider from the UAE who's put himself in here. Another move, one of the Ukrainian riders trying to get across. Mohammed Al-Alayli in second place there in the colours of the UAE, that black jersey with the green, white and red touches. Good move here. Turkish rider is Delay. Al-Alayli, 20 years of age. Just ridden the Tour of Shah of Salalah. Finished third in the Emirates Under-23 Road Race Championship. Rode the Tour of Sharjah earlier on in the season as well. So Al-Alayli is making his moves here and trying to get himself up the road. Delay is with him. Mohamed Delay. Sorry, of Tunisia, not Turkey. Tunisia on the attack now. Multiple national champion of Tunisia. And the peloton just staying quite calm at the moment. Prepared to do any chasing. Being distanced, Edward Ngunu of Kenya. So there's the visual situation. 3 leaders with 1 chaser in the early stages of this race. Oh, crash on the corner. One rider hits the deck from Rwanda. And that is Nyonkuru. Just saw them go round that turn. Nyonkuru, I don't know if he touched a wheel. Yeah, he did. Touched a wheel into that corner. Well, here's our lead group. Pomorski of Poland has found his way into this group, wearing number 25. Alaleli of UAE, the Tunisian rider number 82, and on the back is the Ukrainian rider who's made his way into the group. We never saw the Kazakhstan rider get there. So it's Kozaris of Ukraine who's made his way into the group. Pomorski, the Polish rider in the red and white. And the peloton just being led by a number of different teams who are prepared to just the Rwandan rider's got himself back into the group, so he's recovered from that little crash that he just had. So Mikko Pomorski of Poland in the front group of riders. Ethiopian rider just pedalling his way back in. Pomorski's 22 years of age, and here's the return of the Rwandan rider. Gap's starting to grow now already. At the back, number 86. This is Alameo, riding for Ethiopia. Two Ethiopian riders side by side almost at the back of the group. And there'll be different ways that the riders will decide to ride this race. Alameo, a member of Team Amani, which is the African team that is trying to really change things here in Africa, in their particular area, by trying to get different African riders into that whole system and trying to find an endurance rider and using some of the techniques that have been used in other endurance sports in Africa to find the very best rider they can find, with some great partners doing that. Alaleli goes to the left-hand side, just works his way up. This is the first of our climbs. We reach the bottom of the Côte de Kigali Gulf. We're going to climb this on numerous occasions. Only this 800-metre power climb. Belgium on the left-hand side. They've got a good team here, with Jasper Skufs and Jarno Wieder, two riders who could certainly win the title today. Yilmaz on the front in the red and white. He is from Turkey. I don't know why I thought he was from Tunisia. I suddenly thought his kit was different. So Yilmaz from Turkey, going uphill, 20 years of age, second in the Grand Prix Antalya in 2025. The American team showing at the front now as well. The peloton don't seem to want to let too much of an advantage go. Alaleli there in second place. The rider on the front from Turkey's won a number of criterium races there as well this season. He also rode the Tour of Turkey. An 18th place on one of the stages. He also won a number of criteriums in Turkey right at the beginning of the season. They have quite a few in sort of February time. So Ramazan Yilmaz is the representative of Turkey in that front group. Peloton all riding very, very steady. A little bit of a move on the outside as Italy put representatives up towards the front. Oh, that looks painful, doesn't it? Malakwen of Kenya is dropped all of a sudden. He was looking okay, and now he's being distanced. The Eritrean rider, number 93 there. That's Yafiet Mulugeta. He's at the World Cycling Centre, actually. He's had a few performances. He rode the mixed relay team time trial. We saw him do that the other day. Was fifth in the individual time trial of Eritrea, and he actually finished second in a race in France, the Grand Prix de Pleuran. Well, Alalali's finding this pace a little bit too much. He was pushing on at the beginning. Well, it looks like his legs are just left wanting on that particular uphill section. Into the feed zone for the first time. Pomorski moves across the road. Just trying to get this breakaway established. Sora's at the back, number 62. Doesn't seem to be doing any work though. The Ukrainian rider, national champion of the individual time trial. Hasn't had many race days this season. He's ridden about 10 race days in total. Was 10th in the Ukrainian Road Race Championships. A few more conversations going on at the front of the peloton. We're not seeing as many riders being distanced as Alalali is now going back to the peloton. I think he probably got a little bit overexcited on that last climb. Would have been good just to sit in the wheels. I think he's just overextended himself a little bit there. So we're going to come down to the first big climb on the cobbles of the day. We're going to reach there at 153.4 kilometres of racing to go. It's a 1.3 kilometre climb at 6.3%. They've managed to grow their lead to 30 seconds now. If you'd like to get in touch today, please feel free. At Ant McCrossan is where you can get a hold of me. Some more moves going on at the front now of the peloton as they just lengthen things out a little bit. This World Championship was first run in 1996 in Lugano. It was won by Juliano Figueras. Last year it was Behrens who took the victory, as we saw right at the beginning of the programme. Axel Laurent won in 2023. This is Umaru Musa of Cameroon, just being distanced here. It's amazing to watch, isn't it, when you see riders who clearly are going downhill just as fast and they lose 10 metres and then you're gone. You don't come back. You might come back if you're lucky with a group or something, but you just realise that suddenly the peloton is gone. There's no rhyme or reason to it other than you've lost 10 metres and you're suddenly having to push the air yourself. Right, we're on to Kimihurura. 11% at the bottom, as if you've been watching the other races, we've got used to. So you have to really just concentrate on this climb. At this time in the race, these riders will just be measuring the effort. You don't want to go firmly in the red zone right now. We're starting to see some moves from the team of Italy. I'm just trying to work out what their plan might be. They've certainly got race favourites in this particular Italian squad. Lorenzo Finn was the junior world champion last year. Borgo is in here, who rides for Bahrain Victorious. imagine the Italian team believe that they can probably win today's race if they play things right. So Al-Alayli of UAE's gone from the front group all the way through and gone out the back, unfortunately. This is Mali. The Mali rider, the Emerton, and a problem here for the Haiti rider, and this is Wilson Sanon. Two Mali riders together. Tiamoka Diallo, Tiamoka Diamatan. Just can't go with the pace that's being set on this rise. 271 metres of climbing remain. And this race is starting to come back together. This is Kozaris. When we look at teams who might win today, we talked about the Italian team a moment ago. When you look at their squads, Alessandro Borgo rides for Bahrain Victorious, Lorenzo Finn rides for Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe Rookies, Simone Gualdi rides for Intermarché Wanty, and Pietro Matteo is part of the FISMA Lisa bike team. And he's moving from their development team into their World Tour team. So there's... that Italian team is incredibly strong. Such a shame for the Ethiopian rider. Looks like he's got a puncture. Kozaris is our solo leader, but things are coming back together. Only 10 seconds then for Kozaris. Belgium have got a really good field of riders in here. Just watch the riders work their way up and over that particular little section. As Kozaris continues with his effort. Perhaps the race favourite for today. Jakub Soderquist, after his time trial the other day. This is the Ukrainian rider at the front, coming up towards the end of lap number 1. We'll get 10 laps of racing remaining. Jakub Soderquist of Sweden. He'll have to be clever though, he's the solo competitor from Sweden this afternoon. But he's there and he's the strong rider, he knows the course, he clearly was incredibly strong in the time trial. I'll get an idea now of the average speed of the riders, how things are going as they come up to complete lap number 1 and get 10 laps of racing remaining. Kozaris is the solo leader at the end of lap 1. Not too many seconds between the two groups right now, just a matter of just under 20. This is the convention centre. Built on the model of the traditional huts. The dome-shaped landmark. It's a global conference hub now there, and it opened in 2016. Kozares has completed that lap. The average speed 41.6 on that first lap, which is a pretty rapid tempo. The average speed of the opening lap of the junior race was actually 41.8. So that lap was just a little bit slower than the junior race. Shows how well the juniors were going earlier. The pattern of this under-23 race, though, should be a little bit different. Leading across the line that time in the peloton was Paul Fietske, Tim Rex, Marco Schrettel, also Jana Widar, Niels Aberasold, Hebron Berhan of Eritrea, Lorenzo Fien of Italy, Yo Habtiab was also at the front of the race. We're at 101 riders already. So we've lost 17 riders from the peloton on that first lap of racing. Kozares has clearly decided, I want to go it alone today. He was with that original group of riders. He's continued with his workload and gone away.
It's 2 horse match speeds. Guys, you need to stay.
This is Jakobom Rosell of Slovenia, having a little problem at the back. Try this at home. He's obviously got a problem with this. I'm not so sure he's going to get that back in. Why not ride without your computer today? I don't think this is going to happen, is it? This is the little bracket, for those of you who don't know, that holds your computer. He's asked for an Allen key. At this sort of speed, I just don't think it's going to happen. He's got to get the Allen key in that bracket and get it done up. Why not go old school, take your computer off and ride? You never know what might happen. Jakobom Rosell at the back, rides for the Bahrain Victorious Development Team. He'll be riding for Bahrain Victorious' World Tour team next season. He's won the Giro d'Italia Next Generation. He's a very useful bike rider. He took that back in June. He was second on the final stage into Pinerolo. Fourth overall, that's a good idea. Swap into another bike. Jakobom Rosell, he should have no problem getting himself back on. So swap into a bike that he can put his computer onto. Years of age. Jakobom Rosell, one in Novo Mesto. There's a few riders here in the pits are bringing their race to an end, unfortunately, at the end of the first lap. Mamadou Musa of Cameroon looks like, unfortunately, the bike gave out. That chain has gone. .46 kilometres to go. We will go down to the bottom of Kigali Gulf again at 142.6 kilometres. Still Kozares continues with his advance. We were talking about 1996, the first edition of this Under-23 World Championship. In the last few years, riders who have medalled in this championship are already, of course, top World Tour riders. Biniam Girmay was a rider who finished in the silver medal position in 2021. Girmay, such a trailblazer for African sport. Green jersey of the Tour de France just a few years later. And on that day, it was Baroncini who took the victory. Biniam Girmay was second, and he beat Olav Koy, who was in third place. So some fast sprinters that day. In 2019, it was Samuele Battistella ahead of Stefan Bissegger and Tom Pidcock. But that was the day when the result was changed right at the finish after the chase of the Dutch rider. Soren Varenskold has taken a bronze medal in 2022. Axel Laurence, I mentioned the winner in 2023, has now the Belgian team come to the front. But other winners of this race in the history of this championship, Mark Hirschi was the winner in 2018. The year before it was Benoit Cosnefroy. We go back to 2013, Matti Moric took the victory. That was the year after he'd taken the junior victory. And I think that's the first day, as we see Jakob Rosell come back. He's one of the race favourites for today. Matti Moric, winner 2013, the year after 2012 when he took the junior victory, and I think that's the first time in a bike race that we ever saw the Super Tuck. Many people think it was Chris Froome who invented the Super Tuck, which has now been, of course, removed from competition, but it was actually in that World Championship, Matti Moric in the Under-23 race went onto the top tube and pedalled for the first time. It wasn't the first time he'd done it, it was the first time we'd seen it on screen. But that then became a thing. Chris Froome then used it in the Tour de France, and the rest is history. Group of riders just pedalling their way back in. We'll give the chance for the Venezuelan, number 79, Maestra, to come back. Before Matti Moric took the victory in 2013, Alexei Lutsenko was the winner in 2012. And before that was one of the fastest sprinters, Arnaud Demar. A world champion this time in the mixed relay, Michael Matthews took the victory in 2010. I remember him winning that World Championship. I think it was one of the first world titles I commentated on. Roman Sicard was the winner in 2009. And then before that, if you go into the 90s, Ivan Basso won it in 1998, and Kurt Arvidsson won it in 1997. So many big names of the world of cycling have won this Under-23 title or taken medals as well. This peloton working its way now to Kigali Gulf. We're about to hit the bottom of it now. One thing that was also interesting was in 1996 in Lugano is that Italy took 1, 2, 3. And then they did it again in 1998 when Basso did take the victory, and he beat Nocentini into second and Danilo De Luca into third. So 3 Italians in the top places overall. Cosarez continues with his attack. France got a 1-2 in 2011 with Demar and Audrey Petit. And other riders who've taken medals in recent years, Pascal Ackermann, Leonard Kemner. We've mentioned Olav Koy. Louis Menkes took silver in 2013 in Firenze behind Matti Moric. Brian Cockard took a silver in 2012, so it just shows you just how important this actual race is and how you can become one of the top riders in the world if you take the under-23 world title. Italy have got the most medals, 16 in total, with 6 golds, 6 silvers and 4 bronze. Cosarez has gone straight out the back, from front to back and out the back. It's happened now twice, with the UAE rider doing the same. Belgium in the ascendancy as the peloton is all together. The Ugandan rider is distanced. Shafiq Mugalu. They've got 2 riders in here. Laurent is also in there as well. So it's Belgium now who decide to just start to turn the screw on everybody. All 4 of their riders at the front. They've got 5 riders in total, so they've got 1 rider sitting a little bit further back. But this team are obviously deciding, let's take this on early, let's make life a little bit difficult for the rest of the peloton. As the Mauritian rider goes out the back, this is Piat. I think tomorrow we might see a lot more of this Mauritian jersey. Kim McCaw, one of the favourites for the women's race. Australia's starting to move forwards. In the green and gold, the white jersey with the green and gold across it. Matthew Greenwood, Zach Marriage and Hamish McKenzie. This is Amishi of Turkey, who's also now being dropped. And I think this is going to be that sort of situation throughout most of today, where we're just going to see riders getting more and more distanced. On the front of the peloton, Tim Rex of Belgium. He's the one who's been asked to do the work. Belgium may well sacrifice some riders in order to try and win this race today. Some team tactics will come into play in this particular championship. It's Tim Rex on the front, 21 years of age, rides for the development team of Visma Lisa Bike. He will be joining the World Tour team in 2026. You can see him there on that yellow bike, yellow and black Cervelo. Third on the stage of the Tour de l'Avenir in 2024. So many of these under-23 riders are moving into the World Tour so early. The South African rider realises suddenly that he's the last in the string. This is Joshua Dyke. And there's the makeup of the team. We've got Pedri Kroos, Blaine Kirk and Warren Moolman. Tim Rex on the front, 8th in the Liège-Bastogne-Liège for under 23 riders in 2024. It's a good climber, Tim Rex. Doesn't look that fast, does it? 76 kilometers an hour down this particular section. We're almost at Kimihurura for the second time. Got about 400 metres until we reach the cobbles. And we'll see what sort of damage the cobbles will do this time. Certainly it's getting rid of riders every single lap. And without really trying to exert any pressure on the pace, we're hitting 80k an hour down towards the cobbled section. We take this left-hander and then the next left-hander, and then we're pretty much on the cobbles again. Here we are onto the cobbles. Belgium in the ascendancy at the front of this peloton. The team of Italy just sitting behind. That's Pietro Matteo, who's there. Oops, problem here for New Zealand. This is the only New Zealand rider, Redmond Connolly. And he's got gear problems. He's managed to get it going by the looks of things. He's got a bit of a chase on his hands now, the New Zealander. Only 4 New Zealand riders are actually here at these World Championships. So you want to give him the best chance possible, keep him in that peloton, see if he can produce something for New Zealand this afternoon. We're into the afternoon now. It's 20-1 here in Kigali. Still Belgium force the tempo. So an important and nice touch today as we just see Delay go out the back for Tunisia, number 95. And in memory of Muriel Ferrer from last year, of course, that tragic day. Muriel Ferrer, the UCI has announced that number 84 will never again be used in the junior women's road race at the UCI Road World Championships in memory of Muriel Ferrer, who died after that crash last year. So we'll never see 84 used again, and I think that's a very important memory of a rider who is sadly missed by her friends and family. One thing that has come out of what happened with Muriel Ferrer last year, as we look here at Amy Rimazura going out the back, is that you'll see underneath the saddles of all these riders there is a little pack, a data pack, and that data pack is now being used for safety, and it gives it means that everybody knows that all the riders are still on the route, and that's an important innovation that's been added. Very, very important in terms of the memory of Muriel. So Belgium continue with the pressure. forcing the pace. You can see the peloton, everybody just hunched over, riders just being dropped, one of the Czechia riders going back in the convoy as well. It'll be interesting to see how many riders are left at the end of this lap. We had, what, 101 riders left in the main bulk of the race. It's funny, isn't it? When you look at the riders, as we go back here to number 112, this is our neutral athlete, Andrei Belianin. It's incredible when you look at the Slovenian riders, how their position and their style mirrors Tadej Pogačar. And I don't know whether it's the way that they do their bike fits or bike setups in Slovenia, but, I mean, it's a good thing to copy. He's the most talented bike rider of his generation. But when you watch Jakub Omrazel, who rides for the Bahrain Victorious development team, and we'll move into Bahrain Victorious, when he's climbing on that cobbled section, he has exactly the same style pretty much as Tadej Pogačar, and it's all the way through this Slovenian team that the way they hold the bars, the way they ride, see it with the rider in the blue and white helmet, the style is so similar. Coming up to the end of this lap, we'll have 9 laps of racing to go. We'll see what the average speed is. It was 41.6 last time. Last time it was Kozores who led. He had a 14-second advantage. This time it's a peloton that is all together. Peloton a gruppe. And it's Canada who are going to be the first team across the line this time, with Jonas Walton, son of Brian Walton, as he goes across the line. Average speed 41.262. Jonas Walton led Evan Boyle from the USA across the line. Behind them it was Tim Rex. He must have enjoyed signing his name, surely, if he wins the world title and he just signs T-Rex.
UCI 25.
Kamil Lehmann was in 4th place, Jana Widar, Pietro Matteo, and a problem here for the Italian, and this is Simone Gualdi. Needs a wheel change. Not a bad place in the course to have a wheel change. Front wheel change as he gets himself going now. Eritrean Hebron Bahan also up towards the front of the peloton in 15th place. Lorenzo Finn is the rider up towards the front, having a drink for Italy, just pouring water over himself. Jonas Walton from Canada across the line first. Son of Brian Walton, who rode for 7-Eleven and Saturn, silver medalist in the points race at the Atlanta Olympics. He also won a stage of the Tour of Langkawi in 1997, and the Tour of Langkawi will start on Sunday. One of the most important Asian races. So there's our average speeds on the right-hand side. 41.6 for the first lap, 41.4 for the second lap. Around about just around 20-minute laps, 20 to 22-minute laps. Sitting right on the back of the peloton now, Halvor Dolven of Norway. Slovakia with number 56 there, that's Schwarzbacher. And number 120 there is in the group of riders, that's Kam Chin Pok of Macau. Another Chinese rider sitting in front, number 59, Li Yu. Number 56 looks like he's having a very easy time, isn't he, Schwarzbacher? Just moving the bike around. You have to be so patient in a World Championship. It's not necessarily about being at the front early, attacking early. You've got to be extremely patient. It's a waiting game. You've got to sense the race and feel when things are going the right way for you. We saw that in the men's junior race. You've got to be able to feel the race, feel the way that it's playing out for you and deciding when you make your moves. Belgium basically riding a team time trial on the front this afternoon. Italy lining up behind them. Lorenzo Fin is the second place rider. Pietro Matteo of Italy there. Lorenzo Fin, junior world champion. Mum's Italian, dad is British. So when you listen to him, he has a very good English. As Gualdi tries to come back. So Gualdi just getting a little bit of water, pouring it over himself. It is getting more intense, the weather this afternoon. After last night it rained, it meant that it was a little bit fresher this morning. But now you're getting that intensity of heat and the altitude and everything combined. The more dense air that there is that we've been experiencing over the last few days. So Jonas Walton at the back. Oh, a little bit of a wobble on that bike. That didn't look quite right. Why, but his bike was kind of moving around underneath him there. Just heard on Radio Tour an announcement to remind everybody to not throw bottles outside feed zones, because I've seen a couple being thrown and gels being thrown, and it's not a done thing, particularly in Rwanda. So they've just put a warning out to stop that happening. I have to say I was impressed that here in Rwanda, single-use plastic bags are completely banned. You can't bring them into the country at all. That is a great focus on getting rid of the single-use plastics across the world, at least trying to do something in this country. And actually, when you look, there is no litter around this. I've not seen anything at the side of the roads. So many other countries in the world, you have to you just look and you can see plastic bags and everything. You don't see them here, and it's not that this area has been tidied up. That's how it is. Almost at the bottom of Kigali Gulf again. Less than we're just about 2 kilometres there till we reach there again. Jonas Walton quite happy to sit on the back with the Slovakian rider just in front of him. Let's see what sort of damage Kigali Golf does this time. The drumming that's become so synonymous with these World Championships, you hear it everywhere. Belgium carry on with their pacemaking. I'm just trying to work out what their tactic is this afternoon. Well, they just want to make the race really hard for later on in the race. They've obviously decided they need to keep this momentum very, very high. They've got Jana Widar, who rides for the Lotto team. He's been in their development team for a little while, but he's moving to their next level up team, although there's lots of rumours about Lotto right now. But he won the Giro Next Generation in 2024. He's an incredibly talented bike rider. He also won Valle d'Aosta 2 years running. He's also won the under-23 Liège-Bastogne-Liège, the under-23 Flèche Ardennaises. He's an incredible bike rider, and he is potentially Belgium's winner of today. Jasper Scoofs is in there as well, though, and he is a member of the Soudal Quick-Step development team. So Jasper Scoofs could be another rider. He's finished 9th in Valle d'Aosta. He's won a number of bike races. He just finished 4th in Chrono Challenge Lendelade. He rode well in the Tour de l'Avenir, a top 25 place there. He was top 10 in Valle d'Aosta, and he finished all of the other big races of the season. So Jasper Scoofs is another possibility for today. The Italian team there, as Belgium set a very hard tempo, 2 of their riders are coming back. Kamil Eamon bringing back Jana Widar that we were just talking about. You wonder why Belgium have been riding that hard, or probably the answer is they didn't know these 2 riders are out the back. Jana Widar looks around, little nods, wearing number 16, there he is, very, very comfortable. Doesn't seem to be having any issues today with the way he's riding. Very comfortable as he pedals his way back onto the rear of the peloton, and his teammates bringing him back. So Kamil Eamon is going to bring him right to the front of the race. Without the race radios, though, the 3 Belgian riders on the front have no idea that the pace they're setting is going to make life a little difficult for Jana Widar this afternoon. Judah Thompson has abandoned for Thailand. It's got an appropriate number for abandoning. Number 59, Li Yu of China. That's a shame for Alaleli. He was in the breakaway and now he's abandoned the race. He gave it a shot. He tried to put the UAE on the map by going on the move. I think he got a little bit carried away. Once he was in that breakaway, forcing the pace at that time in the race is so difficult, but it was good to see the UAE represented in a breakaway in the World Championships. Through the feed zone, riders trying to get as much water on board as they possibly can. Got to be a mix of water and electrolytes for today's race, so that those electrolytes help with the absorption of the water, not just pure water all the time. But the riders also will be taking some carbs in their bottles, trying to supplement the gels they've got. But in this sort of heat, it's very, very fine line between being a little bit sick after taking so much water, gels and everything else on board, and being absolutely fine. This is Louis Leydart, number 4, coming back into the race. Louis Leydart rides for the Lidl Trek Future Racing Team. So he's in that feeder team into Lidl Trek, who just, of course, signed Juan Ayuso. Back of the peloton, number 111, Lawrence Lorot. Rider for Uganda, still there, still sitting in the wheels, doing a good job. Louis Leydart, though, 20 years of age, from Germany, riding for that Lidl Trek Future Racing squads. So he's got a chance of going into the Lidl Trek World Tour team if he continues to progress. He's just ridden Tour de l'Avenir, finished second on a stage into Vitry. On that day, he was beaten by Elliot Rowe of Great Britain. Still the peloton led by Belgium this afternoon. If you'd like to get in touch, at Ant McCrossan, at UCI_cycling is where you can get us during these World Championships. This is the Kigali Genocide Memorial. A very important memorial in this region that we've seen on a number of different occasions, but each time we see it, it doesn't diminish the need to talk about it and see it. Genocide Memorial, just about 6 kilometres from where we are right now. It's a real testament to the courage and unity of the Rwandan people in that unimaginable horror in 1994. And that memorial chronicles the efforts to halt that genocide against the Tutsi. On to Kimihurura again. That whole genocide museum is really important. A living memorial honours the bravery of those who fought to save the lives of everybody and the millions who perished during the genocide. That problem at the back for the Algerian rider Oussama Mamouni. Just in front of him is Mustafa Taraki. When you start to feel the pace, you really feel the pace on this course. So still Belgium pushing the tempo. Mamuni of Algeria going out the back, 22 years of age, here in this under-23 World Road Race Championship. Oh, and the South African rider is starting to feel this as well. This is Joshua Dyke. He's not enjoying this climb at all. And his teammate is also starting to suffer on the left-hand side at the back as well. Warren Moolman is feeling the pace. And some of the fans enjoying the fact that if you cheer the riders on a bit, they go a little bit quicker and they get themselves back in the race. Almost at the top of the cobbled section for this time. We reach the top at 121.9. Oh, big problem here. And Chain has got completely caught up. This is Kapatar. And so much time, so many times this happens now, doesn't it? Well, the Chain comes off, drops in the middle, completely blocked, and there's nothing you can do except stop. Still Belgium pushing this tempo. He's really taking this on. Is this the right tactic for the afternoon? Eritrea is still represented up at the front. Riders now getting to the end of their training for the World Championship on Sunday for the men's road race. This is Alouani of Morocco. He's lasted a fair time and now he's getting dropped. Remco Evenepoel has just finished his preparation with a distance of 163 kilometres, 4.5-hour ride, and he's just said on his details of that ride, his log of the ride, actually one of the most beautiful training laps I've ever done. One of the big bits of news from yesterday, for those of you just fans of cycling and watch everything, is that the UCI Mountain Bike World Championships are going to Durango on the 40th anniversary of the first edition. They're going there in 2030. Can you imagine how big that's going to be in Durango? Mountain biking, it's going to be unbelievable. The end of this lap then. We're coming up to complete our next lap and we'll have 8 laps of racing to go. The average speed has been up at around 41.2. Belgium are the team responsible for making that happen. 8 laps to go. Just over an hour of racing covered. The average speed as we approach here, we'll take a look at what it's going to be. Belgium cross the line first at the front of this peloton of riders. 8 laps of racing to go. The average speed is 41.213 kilometres an hour. And in terms of the number of riders who are in the peloton, still at this point in the race, 79 riders remain. So after the end of the first lap, it was 101. Now we're on 79. 39 riders are gone. There's the stats for you on the right-hand side. There's a lot of building going on around this particular area of the course, as you'll see in the background. Seems like there's a lot of development of this particular area. Here's a group of riders trying to make their way back into the race, having been distanced a little while ago. Includes Jonas Walton, the Canadian. Also in here is Joshua Dyke of South Africa. Never give in, you just never know how things might develop. Tekli Alameo of Ethiopia on the back. Also in here is number 85, and that's Munier of Senegal. He's the rider wearing the star on the back of the jersey, the red shorts. Amahoro Stadium means peace in Kinyarwanda, expanded now to 45,000 seats. And this stadium so famous for sheltering thousands of civilians during the genocide of 1994. It was used by the United Nations at that particular time. First hour racing, 42.3 kilometers an hour. It's a fast tempo in this men's under-23 road race. We're now at the distance of what we saw the juniors ride earlier on today. We've just heard that Samuel Novak of Slovakia has just abandoned the race. And a problem here for the German. And this is Mauro Brenner. It's amazing how many riders are dropping chains, isn't it? So Mauro Brenner taking an eternity to get this chain back on, and sometimes you just cannot see how it can go back on. Brenner gets back in underway. Rides for the team of Lotto Kernhaus. National under-23 German champion in 2025. Rode the Tour de l'Avenir recently, but didn't finish stage 5 into team. Mauro Brenner getting going. His brother is Marco Brenner. Marco rides for Tudor Pro Cycling. The Italian team riding cohesively in the peloton. There we are in the blue jerseys. The team of Spain also seem to be quite locked together. So are Colombia. Seems like this race is firing on all cylinders right now. Everybody is pretty much flat out. Still, it is Team Rex. It's a monster effort on the front of this peloton by this rider. Just dragging the race out. And another problem here for one of the riders from France. So the Frenchman gets going. It's a little bit like Maxime de Combe trying to come back. just checks in his pocket. He's had a bike change. Just trying to get his computer. And it's Antoine Lot, who's coming back into the peloton as quickly as he can. That's for Decathlon, their development team, but next year he'll ride for the newly named team of Decathlon, CMA CGM. That's going to be a mouthful during the Tour de France, isn't it? It's funny though, you don't see CMA CGM anywhere until they name a cycling team, and then you see them everywhere. But Antoine Lot is a useful rider. He won Paris Tour Espoir, he's won a stage of the Olympias Tour, he won the overall in the Olympias Tour this season, he won the points jersey in Tour de Eure-et-Loire, and also was the third place rider in the under-23 National Road Race Championship. 64 kilometers an hour downhill. Getting ourselves into this next turn. .4 kilometers of race to remain. Heading towards Kigali Gulf. And then we'll make our way back to Kimihura again. Bottom of Kimihura this time is 108.1 kilometers of racing to go. So Antoine Lot nearly back. Good ride by him on that Van Riesel bike. He's measured that effort nicely, just riding steadily back in so he doesn't go over the threshold too much. We look out over Kigali. This area is amazing for mountain biking and road cycling. Forest trails around the Nyungwe to the volcanic slopes in the Volcanoes National Park for mountain biking. Gravel riding as well. Thousands of kilometers of rural roads and dirt tracks. It's rapidly growing in Rwanda. There's a race around Rwanda, self-supported ultra-endurance race, which is a gravel cycling event. And also, if you're out and about here, the Congo Nile Trail, a 227-kilometre trail along Lake Kivu with 6 distinct stages. Amazing scenery, you can ride around there. As we've heard from the riders, they're getting to know some of the trails, some of the roads that are good to ride on around this particular region. Earlier this year, of course, the UCI opened 2 World Cycling Centre satellites in Musanze and Bugesera. They're in different landscapes and give athletes and teams a chance to train in environments while taking on the varied routes around here. And riders who come to Kigali always want to ride the Mur de Kigali. And the rider from Macau is still there, and he looked like maybe half an hour ago he was about to be dropped, number 120, Kam Chin Bok. Kam Chin Bok riding for Macau, 22 years of age. He's the national champion of Macau. He's ridden a lot of races, mainly in China during this season, and the Asian Continental Championships as well. Number 57 is Kadbatar. Flying from Mongolia, still there, still riding strongly. Albeit he might be at the back. But you have to remember, some of these riders have not ridden in pelotons that are this large or that are going quite this fast. They might have ridden some Asian races. They might not be at the level of some of the riders in the front. We're talking about World Tour professional bike riders here. So this is a unique and new experience for a lot of these African riders, and some of them are dealing with it really, really well. And it's good to see that we've seen Binyam Girmay win a medal here before in this championship, but it's good to see a number of other riders from Africa who are dealing with the altitude, the heat, the terrain, and the speed that is being set by the riders in this group. Belgium coming to the top of Côte Kigali. I've put a curse on him now, haven't I? Kadbatar is going out the back. This is Derek Chevalier from Belize, number 84. So all the photographers sitting down there on this climb, trying to get the best photos they can get. I didn't know you could get a Haro road bike. Haro used to be one of the most famous BMX brands in the world. Still Belgium maintain this pace. Who knew that Haro did road bikes? Now that I've seen them, they look nice, don't they? Haro did. They were one of the most famous BMX bikes, of course. Based in San Diego in California. And another South African rider at the back. This might be the same one. It is Warren Millman. He's finding just that tempo on that climb, just a little bit too hot to deal with. Just got to keep hanging on and hoping. This is Kozaris, who was one of the first attackers of the day. He's now abandoned. Go his way today. Can Belgium keep this going all day? It's still a few hours of racing to go. We think well over 2 hours, nearly 3 hours of racing left. And it's riders who are prepared to just sit in here. Hamish Mackenzie, for example, number 45 that you can see there, just towards the back. Mackenzie's having a really quiet time, just sitting, waiting. Hamish Mackenzie, very experienced. He will ride for Jaco Alula next season. Third in the under-23 World Time Trial Championship in 2023. Mackenzie clearly just happy, sit there at the back. He rides at the moment for Hagensberg and Jaco, a team that is was without doubt the best team in the world for spotting young talent. So many of the top riders in the World Tour peloton have ridden for Hagensberg, and now they're the feeder team for Jaco Alula with that combined thoughts and mind and experience of racing. Mackenzie, 21 years of age, wears number 45, second in the Oceania Continental Championships in 2023. See how Hamish Mackenzie does on today's race. We're still in the very early stages. We're coming up now to around about 60 kilometres. We saw early on Jorge Blas Diaz dropping the flag on the race start. He's the president of the Dominican Cycling Federation, and he was recognised yesterday for his role in the development of cycling at national and regional level in his particular area. It was good to see him being given that award. So the Macau rider on the back of the group. Nothing really has changed for quite a few kilometres as we make our way onto the cobbles yet again, and it's still T-Rex, Tim Rex at the front, pushing on the tempo for the team of Belgium, looking good and still dragging this pace out. Behind him is number 12, and that is Aaron Docks. And they're clearly riding for one rider and one rider only, and that is Jano Widar. Going out the back now is Joshua Dyke of South Africa. You just feel like you want to give him a push and keep him on the back of that peloton, don't you? Now we get a bit of a move. One rider trying to keep his pace up alongside the Belgian riders who are really at home on these cobbles. This is the Rwandan rider who is going to be distanced now to his air. Etienne Tuiser is dropped. Just can't stay with the peloton this afternoon now. And we're getting into that second phase of the race, where the riders have already covered that first section, and now they get inside that 100k to go shortly. They start to feel like the kilometres are ticking down well. So still the push of the pace. Dutch House is on the right-hand side of this climb. The Rwandan flags are flying as always. Belgium continue to keep the throttle on. Two South African riders trying to keep each other company at the back here. Warren Millman wearing number 78. Give each other a tap, say, come on, let's keep in here now. Let's keep this going. That's what teammates are all about. Joshua Dyke maybe coming to his last moment in this peloton. Because look at the way that Belgium are riding. This is proper full-on bike racing. The speed at which Tim Rex is riding these cobble climb this afternoon is very, very impressive. Spain are represented up towards the front. Slovenia there on the left in that green-coloured kit. The Italians are still on the wheel of the Belgians in that blue-coloured kit. Ecuador represented up towards the front as well.
Yes, here they are.
Oh, this is hurting now. Two riders going out the back. Marco Brenner, who's not been able to get back in after that problem. And he's with Emery Van. Brenner asking for the team car again. We come up to complete another lap. This time we'll have 7 laps of racing to go. It's a steady burn, the Under-23 World Championship. The universal language of I'm about to get out the saddle, the flick of both elbows. Gives the rider behind the idea your bike might come back a little bit at you. So you just give it a little bit of a gap. Italians having a little chat at the side of the road. Big move by the Eritrean, moving up on the right-hand side, just trying to keep himself in contention. So let's take a look at the average speed again this time, see how things have developed. 7 laps of racing now remain in this Under-23 World Road Race Championship. An hour and a half of racing coming up. At the end of this lap, it's Pietro Matteo of Italy who leads across the line ahead of Tim Rex and Jasper Scoots. 41.061 kilometres an hour now. And just to give you an idea, numbers of riders in the peloton, we've now got 75 riders there. We lost another 4. Bottle being thrown to some fans at the side of the road there, and some more on the other side. Bottles bouncing around as well though, and that's a little dangerous. You don't want to hit any bottles that can bring you down immediately, especially if they're full of water. Here's the replay of the riders completing that lap with 7 laps to go. After this race, we only have 3 titles left to decide. We've got tomorrow's racing. We'll be starting again early tomorrow with various bits of action. The men's elite races on Sunday starts at 9:45 in the morning local time. Tomorrow the women's elite race, which will be 164.6 kilometres, same as today on this local circuit. The women's junior race will be first thing in the morning at 8:20 in the morning, 74 kilometres, 5 times around this circuit. The women's race 11 times around this circuit. We're hoping the rain stays away. We've said we're moving towards rainy season. Hopefully it'll just hold off all the way until Sunday night. The women's elite race is going to be interesting on this this circuit. The men's elite road race on Sunday takes us into a massive extension circuit, which actually we drove around a few days ago and took a look. That's going to be some circuit that the rider's going to go on, because I don't remember much in the way of flat roads on that circuit, and it takes them out on this big loop, and it takes them over the Muir de Kigali, which is a famous climb, as we see the campaign against genocide museum we talked about a little while ago with this incredible sculpture. But we go over the Muir de Kigali, which is an incredible climb. We go over Mont Kigali as well, takes us up to 1,771 metres above sea level. So the riders in that men's elite race are going to come around that big circuit. They do 9 laps of the local circuit, then they go back out on a big extension circuit, then they do 6 laps of the local circuit. This is the lineup of the Spanish team. Two Canadian riders at the back now of this string of riders. Suddenly you can go from feeling great to not feeling so good. Well, we saw Harry Hudson earlier on, and we wondered what his next steps are going to be, and they've just been announced. Lidl Trek have announced that he is going to be riding for Lidl Trek Future Racing. So that dream of becoming a bike rider and having a career as a bike rider, because that's, in his words, what I love doing, riding a bike. As we see a puncture here. Puncture for Moreira of Portugal. And there's nothing he can do, he can't really ride on it. It's so gone down so quickly. So Harry Hudson has signed for Lidl Trek Future Racing, the feeder team of Lidl Trek. They've got their hands on him straight away. Puncture for this rider. Been a long wheel change, this one. I do wonder if these teams are listening to Radio Tour, because I heard that call ages ago. This is a slow wheel change, very slow wheel change. A similar situation that has lasted now for nearly 70 kilometres, maintained by the Belgian squads. This race, 164.6 kilometres, and Belgium, pretty much since the start, have been on the front of the peloton. They brought the breakaway back that started early, and since then they've just ridden a team time trial, predominantly led by T-Rex on the front. This is Kadbatar of Mongolia.
The Mongolian team will.
We're inside the magic 100 kilometres to go in this under-23 men's road race championship.
Nawe gushimira rero cyane komite nyobozi yose ya Ferguson Rwanda.
57 kilometres an hour. We've got 7 laps of racing to go. We're heading towards Kigali Gulf for the next time. We're going to get there in 1.6 kilometres, go up Kigali Gulf and head towards Kimihurura for the completion of the next lap. I wonder when another nation will start to challenge Belgium for this lead. I would imagine around about 60k to go. They're probably going to let that happen until then. Driss El Alouani is out of the race, the Moroccan rider. He was the sole representative of Morocco. He's now gone. Warren Millman still on the back. In front of him is number 117, Jonas Walton, who's been there and looks to me like he's having one of those days where you are just nailed to the road and you're doing everything you can to ride through it. Australian Zach Marriage just dodging around at the back, wearing number 44. Greenwood and Mackenzie are his teammates. There he is, number 44 in the camera. Zach Marriage pulls his way up the outside. He's going well, you can tell that. He just looks comfortable this afternoon. Seems to be just dealing with this race, doing whatever he wants. Zach Marriage has had a stagiaire role in a team. Naraya Mounier here of Senegal has abandoned the race. And abandoned here as well of Martin Barter. Talking with Barters with a slightly different accent on them. Will Barter, the American climber, is signed for Tudor Pro Cycling and announced today. 29-year-old Will Barter. He's got a 2-year deal with Tudor Pro Cycling now, so he's got some commitment and some long-term stability, or longer-term stability. That's good news for Will Barter. He's a talented time trialist, a very good climber, and I can see him getting better and better all the time. Belgium onto the climb again here at Kigali Gulf. They must feel good. It must be a nice sight for Jana Wiedaar to be looking at his entire team on the front, looking after him. Just been able to ride in the wheels, and the team basically taking everything on as we're inside that magic 100 kilometres to go. Still a lot of laps left, but at the moment everything is going their way. They seem to have the entire race under control. South African team tagged to the back of this race. Number 77 on the left-hand side is Blaine Kick. He won the Grand Prix de Tourteron in France, also finished second in Prix de Frière. There's a lot of races in France this season, 43 racing days.
These guys at the front is just stupendous. Just look at how everyone here
Will
is
Piat
suffering.
is out, and also out now is Samuel Couture of Canada. He's out of the race as well.
Early in this race, the counters are enjoying the rise. They're sitting back and they've been looking at each other.
See the detail in that skid suit while we take a look at him there. The Eritrean riders are going well in this race, aren't they? When we look through the group of riders, they are still well represented. And I'm just taking a quick look. Macau still represented. South Africa, Germany, Slovakia, Uzbekistan, USA. Uruguay still got riders in the front group. South Africa, Andorra as well. Eritrea. Eritrea, to me, they've got 1, 2, 3 or 4 riders still in here, Eritrea. There we are. We take a look at them now, wearing number 92. This is one of the riders from Eritrea, Michele. So things are going all right for them this afternoon. Milkias Michele and the rest of the Eritrean squad. I saw Daniel Tekelemenot a couple of days ago. He's here, obviously just being with the Eritrean team. Daniel Tekelemenot, who was a pro until, what, 2018? He finished his career with Cofidis. Rode for the likes of Orica Green Edge. He rode for Sabello Test Team, for MTN Quebec and Dimension Data.
95.1 kilometers to go.
He was a winner, actually, here in Rwanda. Daniel Tekelemenot, he won the Tour of Rwanda in 2010. Remember him wearing a King of the Mountains jersey in, was it the Dauphiné, I think? As Dias Rizbe of Kazakhstan is now out of the race as well. Suddenly we're getting more and more riders coming into the pits. Back of the peloton, Ethiopia still represented here with number 86, Tekla Alameo. It's going well, isn't he? Bearing in mind, we are a long way in now to this World Championship. We're 70 kilometres into this race. They've lost Tesfaye, but they've still got 2 riders here in Haile Mariam and Alameo at the back. So you've got to be impressed at the way that these African riders are staying in this under-23 road race championship, because it's not been easy so far. This pace is relentless. It is one of those paces which Really does destroy the legs. Last time we went through the end of the lap with nearly 60 kilometres completed, 58.9. And it was Belgium and Italy and Eritrea all at the front of the race. Still no major attacks since we saw the first attacks of the day. Those contained a number of different riders trying to make their move and trying to get involved in the action. We saw Pomorski of Poland, Alaleli of UAE, Yilmaz went on the attack, the Ukrainian rider Kozares went on the attack as well. As we reach Côte de Kimihurura for the next time, and still on the front. What a job this guy is doing. How is he riding like this for the entire time? The traditional drums, I do love the way that they've got all their t-shirts printed and everything is really detailed. There's a lovely shot across the cobbles to give you an idea of just how rough this surface is. And a moment where the legs start to falter from Svetkov of Uzbekistan, number 83, and also number 53, Zalka of the Czech Republic. Well, yesterday in other cycling news, as we see Belgium going to the top, David Lepartien was re-elected as the president of the UCI and announced that the World Championships are coming to 13 cities across 10 different countries worldwide, as they announced more dates in World Championships. We saw Federica Venturelli riding well the last few days. She's now just been announced with the UAE development team for UAE Team ADQ. Almost at the top of the cobbles this time. The riders, when they get to the line, will have 6 laps of racing to go. And finally, the Belgian stronghold on the front of this peloton has been exploded by the arrival of Spain and also the team of Italy to try and rip this up a little bit. They're not impressed at letting the Belgians just continue, so now they start their plan. And a big move by the Italians as they start to rip this pace up a little bit now on the cobbled section. Big acceleration. That was a very, very big move. Suddenly, we get a long, long stretch of this pace. So it looked like it was Pietro Matteo who has upped the pace now, trying to get rid of the Belgian team off the front. Big explosion of tempo. It looked to me like Hector Alvarez of the team of Lidl Trek on the front. Now a little bit of a move by the Slovakian rider, not prepared now. Big attack of France, so number of riders want to try and break the will of the Belgian team this time. We come up to the line. This time we're going to have 6 laps of racing to go. Austria now started some accelerations too, so suddenly this little move means that everybody is suddenly sparked into life, and the peloton breaking into two parts.
I'm not going to play the decoy here. And it's going to be...
well over 70 kilometres of racing covered now, nearly 74. We're coming up to almost 2 hours of racing. And now Belgium take control. The end of this lap. 6 laps of racing now remain. Across the line is Jarno Wiedar, who was the Belgian rider at the front. Average speed 41.079, so they've speeded up a little bit on that lap. And everybody taking a big deep breath. The peloton looks like it's coming back together, which would mean we have ended up with 63 riders left, 64 riders left. In fact, one more rider will probably come across. 65 riders. We've lost 10 that time in the main bulk of the peloton. Just hearing that Hamish Mackenzie's been dropped for Australia, which is a bit of a surprise. And I'm just taking a look. I've just seen Hamish Mackenzie just go past my commentary position. Significant margin down on the rest of the peloton. So it looks like Mackenzie is going to be out of the race. So Belgium take over after that little acceleration. Italy wanted to test things out a little bit by the looks of it. Hector Alvarez, the Spanish rider, the 18-year-old, just trying to inject a little bit more life into the rest of the peloton. He's a very talented bike rider, Hector Alvarez, one of the favourites for this afternoon, rides for the Lidl Track Future Racing team. Finished third in the Tour of Austria this year. Alvarez has done a lot of racing this season, 40 race days, which for a young rider is a lot. He comes from Benidorm. Back of the peloton, number 19 here, Gomez. One of those beautiful bikes of the Keepo Kern Farmer. If you've never seen these up close, they are stunning machines. The paint job is beautiful. He's got a contract there till the end of 2028. Started the Tour of Britain, didn't finish the first stage, had a crash or a bit of illness there, I remember. But apart from that, he's had a good season. And if you ever get the chance to go to a race where a Keepo Kern Farmer are actually there and look at their setup, the green of those bikes is quite amazing, actually. Looks very, very special indeed. 87.5 kilometres now remain on this race, 66 kilometres an hour downhill with the Belgian team in control. So the bands continue to play as the riders make their way towards Côte de Kigali Golf for another lap of racing. I can imagine by the end of the afternoon they're going to be pretty tired. They've been playing since 8 o'clock this morning, every time the riders go past. I don't know what the lips would be like by the end of the day. 28 degrees it is now, 11km/h winds. The wind's picked up just a little bit. It's been a fast day. No problem here for Jasper Schoofs of Belgium. He needs the team car. The team car is coming up. Jasper Schoofs. Here comes the Belgian team car. And of course they don't have race radios, so they can only just go back and chat, and that's not so easy to do when the tempo has been as high as it has been all day. It's a bottle, but these riders are so experienced. Jasper Schoofs here rides for the Soudal Quick Step development team. You can see he's on the specialised bike there as we head towards Côte de Kigali. So things have not really changed since that first attack of the day was brought back, and Belgium have been on the front for what, 60 kilometres I think now, as the crowds get bigger at the side of the road. The sun is out, it's hot, it's getting warmer, and thanks for joining me for a little bit. Rochelle Gilmore, how is it out there?
Well, like you said, Anthony, it is really, really hot, and that's why you see the team director cars are giving the athletes ice to put down, try and keep their core temperature lower just to conserve a bit of energy that they might use later in the race. But it's a strange type of heat here. It just really knocks you about. Yeah. And a lot of the athletes have said that it's hard to acclimatise to this heat, even though it might only be 30 degrees. It's a different heavy type of heat.
It feels really heavy, doesn't it, when you're outside? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's super hard to breathe as well. Obviously, we're at altitude at 1,500 metres, but it seems to have an additional challenge to it with the thickness of the air.
Now, you've been outside for the day. You've had some meetings, as always. You're always busy, and you've been doing what you need to do out and about. But I'm really thankful for you joining us this afternoon for a little bit. How is the atmosphere out there? Because it does look like all the fans are out again. The atmosphere is growing, and it's another great championship day.
Well, in the vicinity of the start-finish, the finish line where we are here, it's nearly impossible to have a conversation with somebody because the drums are going, the atmosphere, it's loud, and it's impossible to have a conversation, or you have to use your voice. Normally I lose my voice when I'm commentating hours and hours, but when you're out and about here and wander around the finish line, if you're trying to talk to somebody, you actually have to yell at them because everybody's so excited, everybody's smiling, happy, dancing. So the atmosphere is absolutely unbelievable out there. I'm really happy to be tuning into this men's under-23 road race for a little bit. And they'll be racing 11 laps of the circuit, the same as the elite women will race tomorrow. And me, myself, well, I've been out there on a bike, and it is a tougher course than it looks on TV or on a profile or piece of paper. It's got beautifully smooth roads, been resurfaced especially for this championship, and then it's got that very, very, very hard climb coming into the finish. So it's technically a difficult course for these riders, especially over the distance might be a little bit shorter than they do in other races, but here at the World Championships, I wonder this will certainly be a super taxing race, which begs the question of Belgium. They have got the clear favourite in the race, and they have dominated the front of the race from the start. The big question is, at this point of the race, with 83 kilometres to go, have they burnt matches too early? That's the only question. But they look pretty relaxed, sitting in a line, and they've had one teammate just do a huge job. So it looks like everything's going to plan, and they look confident. coming in as race leaders have taken control of the race. So I hope all of their riders managed with the climate here and the distance of the race. So on this part of the circuit, the other day I had to stop and have a breather myself. I sat down and I had a couple of the organising committee come and ask me, "Oh, would you like us to get a doctor for you?" And I said, "No, I'm all right. I'm just having a little rest and I'm waiting for the Australian team to come by and I'm going to say hello to a few friends." And we got chatting and the locals here are just so enthusiastic about cycling. It's incredible. Everyone you speak to, they're so happy to have the World Championships here. And they want to be helpful. They're actually wearing T-shirts that say, "Please ask me," and it's written right across their back. So it's just to give you a little bit of perspective if you haven't been able to make it to this year's World Championships. It's probably something we've never experienced before in terms of the organisation. So the UCI here at the World Championships have been very, very particular about as a way back to the peloton, particularly more than in other races. So riders have to be very, very careful if they go back to the team car not to use any slipstream assistance from the followed vehicles. So even though Belgium have been dominating for their race favourite, you can just see in the body language that there's not really that many other riders that are not labouring and moving the shoulders and swaying side to side any more than they are, so they look like they have things in control at this point of the race. Oh, attack coming now from the Italian. Oh, Belgium are really, really demonstrating that it's their job to keep this race together. Try and neutralise it with putting a rider on the wheel. And so the team will continue to chase whilst they have a rider in the break.
So Rochelle, two riders making their move now. This is the Italian rider who's been quite making a move at times, Matteo, and scoofs the Belgian. So the Belgian team have been riding on the front so much of today.
Yeah, it's interesting. You can see that, you know, they put a rider to cover an attack. They had a rider protected that was, you know, it's your job, you go and cover that attack. But at the same time, they're still chasing, even though they've got a rider in the breakaway. They're still chasing, so they've put all their cards on Wilder, their number one rider for today.
But the fact that they've been riding all day and they believe in Jarno Wiedaar today, do you think it's the right thing to do when we see a team like this who've basically ridden on the front of this peloton for, well, now approaching, what, 60-odd kilometres, 70 kilometres, and one rider in that team has done the majority of the work. Big attack again as another move starts to happen. Why do you think Belgium want to ride like that all day?
Yeah, I think it's a very, very big question. I had a glimpse of the screen when I was having a meeting with one of the ex-presidents of the UCI in the VIP box. All you could see is blue on the front all the time.
Yeah.
And I did ask the question, I said, too much too soon? Because that's the big question. Now they all need to take a breather now, and there's still 80 kilometres left to go in this race. So that is a really big question. The tactic obviously was to keep the pace high to neutralise attacks until we is going to make a big move at some point. But just keep him protected, keep the pace high, and keep this race together until he's ready to go.
But we've seen teams do this before. I mean, the biggest example of this happening was Mark Cavendish in his World Championship victory, wasn't it? He was looked after all day, and he managed to win the title. But we've seen it happen in other races where Great Britain tried to control the Olympic Games and then they didn't win anything. And so it's a risky strategy to put all your team on the front line.
Yeah, it definitely is. But like you referred to the win of Mark Cavendish, is that it also puts more pressure on you, and it's a good pressure where you say, okay, my teammates, they've done every single thing possible today. All I need to do is finish it off. So it adds more pressure when you've got a complete team like this. You can see Belgium is still back to the front, keep the pace high, neutralise those attacks, wait for Weidar to make his move. But when your team does everything they're supposed to do, you feel like, okay, I've got that pressure on me, but they've done everything. I've just got to finish it off. Perfect.
Yeah, so it's good for him then, and he does look comfortable. He's looked like he's had one problem today, where he had to come back into the race, and he was paced back by Camille Eamon, who brought him back into the race really nicely. But apart from that, he's had a pretty much an armchair ride, although it's quite hard to say he's an armchair ride around this course. Whilst you've been out and about, what are people saying about the course itself? Are you getting any sense of how hard it really is out there?
A lot harder than anybody anticipated before actually coming in. Not even saying riding it, but riding it at race pace over race distance. So if you look at it on paper, or you ride a lap, or you study the science of road surface, all the technicalities and the scientific elements, the climate, all that kind of thing. The thing is that it's just so many different challenges here that riders need to deal with that they can underestimate unless they've done a full race of 164.6 kilometres, 11 laps at race pace, to know if like you mentioned it earlier, that a lot of riders rely on their power data.
Yes.
But they can't hit those data here because they're at altitude and they've got really thick air to breathe in, and the cobbles are obviously taking a lot out of the riders as well. That's the toughest part of the course. So, yeah, I think the course has not been underestimated.
And now that we've seen the pattern of this racing going on, and tomorrow we'll be together for the women's race, how do you think it's going to impact on the elite races? Because they'll be watching this, won't they? There's a lot of elite riders watching this racing right now as we see an attack from Poland. How will it impact that women's race tomorrow, potentially, as Pomorski goes off the front? He's been on the attack already today, right at the beginning of the race. Can you see that we'll see just a peloton like this? Can you see attacks happening? How do you see that women's race will be impacted by the course, the terrain, and what we're going to see?
Well, it's interesting because I think now that they've seen it, and I've seen out on the course myself, riders like Anna van der Breggen doing laps at full race pace behind a motorbike, that there might be a chance that it's a non-eventful race because they're worried about the attrition, and it only takes a split moment to be dropped and the race is over here. It's not easy to get back because even the flat sections, they're not flat. It's a very up and down technical corners and obviously the two climbs. So it's possible that after what they're watching, that we might just see an attritional race until the last couple of laps.
It looks like that's what's happening in this race as well, where we saw an initial attack, then riders literally came from the front group and got dropped immediately as more riders drop out of the race at this point. And they've done, what, 90 kilometres nearly of this World Championship. This is Lee Yu. We saw him hanging at the back for a long, long time today. And again, the Belgian team take control and make sure that the tempo is how Jarno Wiedar wants it. Luc Valenti of Canada was just being distanced. Rochelle, we always say about World Championships, if we haven't talked about you and we haven't seen you, then it's probably a good thing.
Absolutely. More so in a sprint race, because you will, like you said, Wiedar had to cover an attack, because if there's a rider that his teammates are not strong enough to cover, he will need to make that move himself. But this is a course where being protected is maybe a little bit less significant than on a long open road. You know, you roll along for 50 kilometres and you can be super protected, because you need to look after yourself on this course as well.
So you have to measure your energy, make sure you're not going over your limit, sit in the right place, not let people open gaps and everything.
Their teammates, I think, are very important for... I've seen the locals out here, always with a football, soccer, playing soccer. A couple of in the lobby, just they're amazing. The young children.
In the lobby?
Yeah.
Really?
The young children, what they can do with a soccer ball, it's just, I sit there memorising, I'm just amazed.
That is one thing that I think is giving everybody a lot of joy. I noticed Kasia Niewiadoma was posting it. She just finds the kids around here incredible, and the way that they run and they play football, and they just love the whole sports element of what goes on in this particular area. 30k an hour, Belgium still on the front. This is not good news here at the back for Slovenia. This is Jakob Marolt, he's gone. One of the Rwandan riders is also now distanced. This is Nyankuru. Also, the Spanish rider is dropped, and that is Fernandez. We're seeing more and more riders starting to feel the terrain and the tempo. Right on the back of the group, though, is Ravbar of Slovenia. As we pick him out, and style again of Tadej Pogačar as he goes round that corner. 76.2 kilometres to go.
Belgium might have lost a couple of riders. They're still just keeping the tempo high. They're not trying to drop riders. They're just trying to nullify attacks, just to keep it together. They don't want somebody to sneak a minute or 2 minutes off the road. They're not really that aware of, you know, everyone's capabilities. So the safest way they want to race is just to keep that pace on the front really high. But if a rider of theirs gets dropped from Belgium, they just have to do their own hard work to get back and start helping again.
We're seeing riders who have mechanicals. It's problematic on this course, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a very difficult course for team cars to get up very quickly, and the Shimano spares, they do an absolutely fabulous job at the World Championships every year. And here it's a little bit troublesome. If you do have a mechanical, it's not... I haven't seen a fast bike change or wheel change or anything from the mechanical assistance.
No, it's all been quite steady, and we're not saying they're doing a bad job. It's just that the time for the cars to come up is difficult. It's really, really tricky. We're coming up now to the end of this lap, and we will have 5 laps of racing to go. We'll see what the average speed is this time. It was 41.079 last time, and we had 65 riders left in the main bulk of the peloton. It looks to me like we're going to have less riders this time. In Italy, now starting to be the guests in the ascendancy towards the front. 2 hours and 10 minutes of racing have gone by, and yet again Belgium lead as we go across the line. Camille Eamon is the rider, followed by Lorenzo Finn. The average speed drops a little bit, 44.002. So Italy now take over. Just taking a look at how many riders are left in the main bulk of the peloton. It looks like we've got 45 riders left now. Rochelle, we lost 20 riders on that lap. this is the point of the race where all your power, your fitness, all that training, all that heat adaptation has made a big difference.
Yeah, Belgium also lost one of their own riders as well in that pace that they were setting up the cobbles over there and really hurting, you know, so not only themselves, but what happens is they do push the pace over the cobbles and over that climb, and then they sit up like this and it all comes back together again. So but it has an effect, obviously, every time they're hurting so much the legs of the other riders.
It's a real tempo going on now. Still Belgium as they hand bottles out on the front of the race.
It's been an exciting race. All the media and hype and everything, it's all been about Belgium versus Italy, but it's been Belgium who's taken up the responsibility of keeping the pace high and doing all the work. So the Italians might be very, very happy about that, having, you know, protecting their rider in Lorenzo.
Lorenzo Finn, junior world champion last year, and they've got also Alessandro Borgo. And when we look at that team, Rochelle, that Italian team, and we talked about it a little while earlier today, that all their riders, Borgo rides for Bahrain Victorious, Simone Gualdi rides for Intermarché, Pietro Mattia rides for Wiesmann Lisa Bike, and Lorenzo Finn is a world champion last year and is in the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe rookies. It's not a bad team, is it?
No, it's and yeah, it's just really exciting for such a young rider to be in a team with, you know, you're in the development program, you still get the opportunity to race in the under 23. You may have mentioned it earlier whilst I wasn't here, that this is the first year that professionals in the World Tour and Pro Peloton can't race in the under 23. You have to make that choice if you're going to jump into the professional. If you do go into World Tour or professional, you can't race the under 23 World Championship anymore.
Yeah, and that's why when you look through the list of riders for the first time, you look and think, where are the big names? But they're all development riders. But most of them are starting to move. A lot of the top riders are starting to move into the World Tour next season. So that's their first opportunity in the World Tour. They may well have been invited in to ride a World Tour race or a higher level race, but they can't be in the World Tour team.
Yeah, they can't be signed a contract with the World Tour team. So, yeah, I think I actually think it's, first of all, at first I thought it wasn't a great move, but now I think the UCI have done a great job in saying, okay, we have a junior category, we have an under 23 category, and we have an elite category at the World Championship. Now, in the case of Italy's former winner, in the juniors, he now has an opportunity to win that under 23, and then we'll go into elite, maybe win an elite championship one day. So I think it's great that we don't get two races very similar with similar classed riders.
Yeah.
We have an under 23 and we have a professional.
I think it is a good situation. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about heat adaptation, because some of I've seen some really interesting things on social media of some riders where they've done the heat adaptation training for this championship, and we've seen them wrapped in wearing extra layers and being in saunas and being out training in big white almost Hamza suits.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of the riders that have targeted this World Championships have been in heat chambers. I'm not sure if they're scientifically advanced enough to completely acclimatise and provide that air quality, and which is something that a lot of the riders, when they got here, said it's just so hard to breathe, because they're in an altitude. They've been training in heat chambers at altitude at this level. But have they been able to experience the same type of air quality which is what's kind of affecting a lot of the riders.
Yeah, and that's hard to do, isn't it? But why have they suddenly realised that you should be going out in these almost full suits and everything like that? Is that just literally to get your body temperature crazy high?
But I don't think that there's better ways. I think they can do their acclimatisation and heat training and going out on the bike in sumo sweat sauna suits.
But you used to train in a sauna, didn't you? In your career?
I have done.
You have trained in a sauna?
In acclimatisation periods, yes.
Yes. And did it work, or?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, a little bit. If we spend 6 hours a day in a heat chamber in the month before a big event, it does have some effect. But, you know, in any sport and business and any aspect of life, there are so many different elements. So many. In cycling, you can do the heat chambers and you can do everything possible, but you can always get here and things are not exactly as you seem.
You've done everything you can and then you might get caught out. You just never know. It just depends how you feel on the day. The Uruguay rider, number 60, is towards the back, Perez. So he's still in this group of riders, still riding well so far. We're heading now towards our next point on the horizon, which will be Kigali Golf again. It is stunning out here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
We haven't been too far out of Kigali, but Kigali have worked years and years on preparing for this World Championship, and the people and the place is just incredible. It's hard to describe. I actually had a message from Kate Bates, who is a sports cycling commentator, this morning. She asked me, is the atmosphere there as everyone is actually saying it is? And I wrote back, yeah, it supersedes what you read. You just can't comprehend it. I said, this is so amazing in they haven't missed a thing. They've covered everything here in Rwanda, so for us, and also probably for the riders and managers and the locals, it's an experience that will never be matched.
No, I agree with you. I think everyone keeps saying that, and I think it is safe to say a lot of people were thinking, oh, what is this going to be like? The organisation here is incredible. The setup's incredible. As I said yesterday, when you normally talk to team managers around a World Championship, they have all sorts of complaints. Because team managers like to complain about something.
Yeah, no, everybody's very, very happy because everything's simple and they've got help everywhere. There's so many people walking around with a T-shirt that says, please ask me. If you have a question, ask me. And even if you don't ask a question, someone will come up and say, is there anything I can do for you?
Yeah.
So there are so many people here in Kigali who have, donated their time to making sure everyone, from athletes, managers, staff, commentators, media, everybody is really, really well looked after who is visiting Rwanda. And, they've done their job well because I will be back in Rwanda because I want to meet more people, I want to see a lot more. And they're really, really, really nice people.
Yeah, I agree. And it would be nice to be able to go, because we've been working the entire time, as we go past Kigali Golf Course, it'd be nice to go out and play 18 holes of golf or go out into the mountains and see what... Today I talked a little while earlier about NKUBONE saying he thinks he's just done the most beautiful lap of training he's ever done. And just go out and see or ride the gravel tracks or do that sort of thing because it is beautiful. Go and see the gorillas, do that sort of thing out here in Rwanda.
Yeah, when I went to the official merchandising in the fan zone for the UCI, the gorillas, I haven't actually been back to it because I didn't have any money with me, but I have a lot of friends that would really appreciate the gorilla with the UCI World Rainbow jersey on. It's awarded to the medalists when they're on the podium. They will obviously have a specific one that other people don't buy, but it would be, I think, it's a really cute little gorilla. But yeah, it would be great to go and experience the gorillas in the wild and do a safari. So yeah, it's been a wonderful time here so far. Belgium, they're all back, so they're all back together, just taking deep breaths. But I just wonder, Anthony, if they're playing a positive card for the Italians. That, you know, they're obviously very, very, very confident, and they've still got numbers there. So
I'm wondering whether this is a good tactic or not, and time will tell as to whether it is, because there are riders sitting in the wheels who, yes, they've got to suffer on the cobbles, yes, they've got to suffer on the other climbs, but the rest of the circuit, they're getting towed along. And we've got riders in here we can't forget who are incredible bike riders. Jacob Rosell, for example, of Slovenia. We've got in here Hector Alvarez of Spain. We've got Yana Weida behind his team. Maxime de Comble of France. He's in with a chance again this afternoon. But one of the riders who we haven't mentioned is Jakob Söderqvist. Haven't seen him all day. Rides for Sweden. Won the time trial the other day. An absolutely incredible bike rider. And I've been keeping an eye on him in this peloton. And he's just sitting in the wheels. He hasn't thought about being anywhere near the front. He's just sat in the midst of the group. Follows the wheels, clearly feels good, and potentially could win this again as Belgium rip it up Kigali Golf yet again. And I can't believe this rider on the yellow bike on the left-hand side, Tim Rex, because he has literally been a one-man machine on the front, towing this group of riders along all day. And we're now at, what, nearly 100 kilometres, and I think he's ridden about 90, maybe 80k of it on the front himself, which is amazing.
I think he's just slipped back here on fourth wheel, maybe.
Yeah, he's gone now, which is not a surprise.
Yeah.
I think they got to buy him dinner tonight.
That's a big, big effort. So yeah, he'll call it a day now.
There he is. Finally, he's dropped. And he, for me, well, I don't know if he's dropped actually.
No, he's still fighting.
He's
That's
like
incredible.
Wout van Aert, isn't he? Is he the next Wout van Aert?
That's incredible.
He is. He refuses to be dropped. Somehow he's staying in the wheels. I don't know how he's done it. He's some bike rider. If there was a most combative rider of the World Championships, he's the one. There he is,
Yeah,
the legs.
He can't do it, and we can't fault him for that. A big 100 kilometres. What a powerhouse. He may have went further into the race than they might have given him a goal, try and get to 60 kilometres, and you know, because I don't think the plan would have been, hey, just drive the pace for 100 kilometres.
Yeah, I'm just going to do 100k on the front, that'll do. T-Rex has gone. What a monster effort by him today. That's incredible. An amazing job. Now we're starting to see the pace really start to go up. We're over Kigali Golf for this time, and we're heading now towards Kimihurura, where we are going to head up the cobbles. Oh, now there's a surprise. Söderqvist has gone. Well, he hasn't been feeling great. I'm sorry to have mentioned him. I haven't mentioned him all day, and the first time I do, he's gone. The time trial world champion, Söderqvist, is dropped, and more riders are going out the back. Suddenly, look at this, the race has been ripped apart. Eritrea have lost 2 riders out of that group. Also dropped is Gomez of Spain. Also distances Ramos of Spain. And suddenly Eritrea lose their riders in Baan and Michele. And look, the next group of riders just up the road with another Eritrean in it. The thoughts and hopes of many riders have suddenly been absolutely blitzed by the acceleration of Belgium on that climb. There's a problem for one of the Belgian riders at the back, and Yana Weida is at the front with 2 of his teammates. They look for ice, he decides he doesn't need it. Australia still represented. Alvarez on the far right-hand side for Spain. He still looks good. Riders having to keep themselves cool, though. We keep seeing Lorenzo Finn, the Italian Rochelle, just pouring water over himself constantly.
Yeah, it's at these World Championships, I've never ever seen all the team managers and team staff, and also even the Shimano support vehicles who are dedicated to supporting with mechanics, they need to fill their cars with water and ice. The amount of water and ice that people have needed around the hotel and out in the fan zones and stuff, it's just logistically, they just ice water everywhere, ice water, ice water. I've never seen so much in my life, but it's there. They've managed it because wherever you go, there's always water and ice.
That's good news. You need it, and we've seen them handing them out in those, wrapped in those tights, and just getting set, put them down your neck, let the water dribble down your back, keep your core temperature as low as possible. Once it goes too high, then it's game over. Well, Soderquist was one of the race favourites. He's gone. Jonas Walton, the son of Brian Walton, is also now right at the back of the group. There is a chance it might come back together, but how bad are the legs after being dropped on that section? Because we're going to head our way now to the cobbles, and if the legs are bad right now, you don't have an awful lot of time to recover. That's another characteristic of this course, isn't it? That between the two climbs, there's only 3 or so kilometres, and there's not much recovery time.
No, definitely a course where you do not have time to just switch off and recover, because the roads are super smooth. That's really, really nice, but there's always a corner coming up. There's always a hill coming up. It happens so quick at race pace that on this circuit, there's nowhere you can really just switch off and relax. And, you know, so when you get maybe those 10 seconds to take a deep breath, but there's not much more than that.
63.9 kilometres now remain on this under-23 World Championship, won last year by Behrens of Germany ahead of Sverchek and Segart. Previous winners Axel Laurence, Mark Hirschi, Benoit Cosnefroid, Matty Morich, Lutsenko, Demar, Matthews, Siegard, Basso, Kurt Arzelavason, and so many others. Riders trying everything they can to just stay in the slipstream as this race continues.
We've seen it also with the women's junior and under-23 races, how it keeps coming back together, but you know that when the pressure is really on that final climb, that there's only a handful of riders that can manage the pace, but then they back off and it all comes back together. And you think, okay, it's back together, there's opportunities for other people, but when it comes to the climbs, they just can't match the power. So it's you know, riders are fighting all the time to get back on, but actually when the race comes down to the finale and the big moves made, there's only really a handful of riders here that can potentially win the World Championships on this circuit.
Onto the cobbles again. Having looked yesterday, I'm going to give you kudos for this, because yesterday you weren't with me, but you messaged me about an hour into the women's race and told me that the French rider would probably win the race.
Yeah,
judging by what you'd been seeing.
I'd had a chance to put my laptop on and put on the UCI channel and listen to your commentary, which was fabulous. To watch a lap, and I think it was 5 or 6 laps to go, I don't know, and I hadn't studied the junior races because I was here for the elite races, and I was just watching one lap, and this French girl is not breathing. She's not. Everyone else is struggling on the cobbles, and the shoulders are going side to side, and out of the entire peloton. So then I was late for another meeting, but I got engrossed in it, and I had to watch another lap and another lap because I'm like, she's still not breathing. Every time the hammer goes down, and her teammates were doing everything that they possibly could. So yeah, it was really
about 2 hours from the end.
Pretty exciting race.
This is the now stretch, as suddenly we see an acceleration by Marco Schrettel of Austria, who goes to the front and starts the pacemaking, and he's got rid of most of the Belgian riders with this acceleration. Jarno Wiedar is now isolated. That's good news for any of the other squads. Also up here is Lorenzo Finn, the Italian rider. The Slovenian rider Jakub Omrazel is here as well, number 29. Big move on the right-hand side as the Spanish rider makes his move. This is Hector Alvarez, who rides for the Lidl Trek Future Racing team. And Rochelle, what we were starting to talk about has now happened, because Jarno Widar has gone from an entire team with him a few minutes ago to no riders at all.
With just over 60 kilometres to go.
Yeah.
So there's just so many riders in that peloton just sitting in there. Belgium is doing all the work. So they didn't even, you know, make the Italians contribute, who have a big favourite in Finn. So it was a big question. How is this race tactic going to work for Belgium? Now Finn is all alone, he's sitting on the front, he's driving it, but this is not a good thing.
No, it's not good news for Belgium. Suddenly this race has changed. Alvarez of Spain has gone clear with 61 kilometres to go. This rider is super, super talented. You cannot let him take any more of a distance, and Jarno Widar recognises that Alvarez is a rider you cannot give any sort of hope to. So Widar now starts to make the moves, because he has to be the rider to respond for the first time. We've only got about 15 riders in that front group. Suddenly the race has completely exploded.
So what's happened is Belgium have used their teammates to keep the pace really, really high throughout this race. However, there's been so many athletes that have just been sitting in and protected and conserving their energy. And all of a sudden, in that one split moment, there's no Belgium other than Widar who can cover that move. And that's okay at the final of the race, in the final couple of laps. But when you're 60 kilometres out from the finish, if Widar has to cover every move himself with no teammates, it's going to make it a very difficult situation for him.
There's going to be some big questions asked if Belgium don't get a medal here. So it's Hector Alvarez. Coming up is the Italian rider, and that is Pietro Matteo, who's been really strong today. Widar is not prepared to close the gap on what's happening, and suddenly the hopes of Belgium are looking very much different to what they were a few minutes ago. In fact, less than 10 minutes ago, they were firmly in control. Lorenzo Finn is the Italian rider who jumps across. Italy have got all three, so they've got at least three of their riders, if not four, in this front group. This is impressive. At the end of this lap, 2.5 hours of racing have been completed. The riders are coming up with 4 laps to go. The leading rider is Alvarez in the blue of Spain, followed by Stretzel of Austria, with Italy just closing the gap with Lorenzo Finn. Across the line this time, and it is hardly any riders left. Alvarez with an average speed of 41.082 kilometres an hour. The speed goes up, and at the front of the race, there's not that many riders left. There's 14 riders at the front.
Yes, this is a really, that was an exciting moment of this race, a very decisive moment of this race. It really does indicate to us that it may have been a mistake, the tactic of the Belgians, and it did play into the hands of the other riders and the Italian team and all the other individual riders that have the potential of winning the gold medal here. So I think they have to really, if they do get back together, really recover and reassess their strategy, and maybe just not sit on the front, rather than sitting on the front, cover these moves.
Well, Alvarez has been caught and has gone on the attack again with 59 kilometres to go. He does not want Widar and the other riders to get any reinforcements, because he's decided to go up the road, and we've only got this small group that's been absolutely shredded behind, who are all looking around and wondering where their teammates are, where their reinforcements are, and Italy, I think, are playing their card. They've asked him for one rider to come up, Lorenzo Finn, and the Austrian rider goes to the front, Stretzel, but Italy have got, what, 3 riders in there? And they're playing the game of, let's make everybody else ride. Widar, to me, I don't know about you, Rochelle, but to me, he doesn't have the legs, because he's finding it hard to shut gaps.
Yeah, he should have been straight on to Alvarez's move because he knows he's a dangerous rider, but he didn't, or he couldn't. That's the question. Or he just hesitated, was relying on his teammates, and then realised, hang on, I need to cover this one. I'm the only one that's strong enough of the team to cover this. And he struggled to do it. So Alvarez is, in my opinion, the peloton are going to start looking at each other, who's going to work. And when they someone goes to the front to pick up the pace, they're going to make sure it's hard for the rest of the riders. They're not going to just sit there and pull anymore. So we're going to have a real race on our hands here because there won't be any more formation. It'll just be like riders trying to take an opportunity to get on the wheel of Alvarez, but Alvarez is in his zone and these riders are going to hesitate and look at each other. So
it's a great opportunity for Alvarez. He's decided he does not want anyone else to come back. He wants to go on the attack. It's a long out. 59k to do that is impressive. But we've seen attacks already today that have gone to the finish. Not this far out, but still fairly far out as Alessandro Borgo goes to the front, and on his wheel goes Jan Huber of Switzerland. Jano Widar is playing chess right now, but every time there's an acceleration, to me, he does not have the snap in his legs anymore. Look how hard he's having to work to shut the last metre.
And that's the thing, when you come to a World Championship, you have a clear leader and you have to really put faith in that leader, and nobody can predict how the leader can feel on the day, not even before one moment before the race. It's not until you're actually in the race. So they did have a clear strategy, but if the lead rider for Belgium today being Wieder, if he doesn't have the legs on the day, then you can have many different plans, and one may work, one may not. So obviously they realise at this point, okay, that wasn't the best tactic.
They're letting this group of riders come back. They're not too far behind. Wieder closes the gap on the Italian rider who goes to the front. Here's the rundown of the chasing group of riders. Lolerg of France, Wieder, Marti, Parikas, Kudulovic, Schretzel, Omrazel, Huber, Lopez. Ramirez of Ecuador has made it into this group as well, which is good news for Ecuador. There's not many riders, though, in that chasing group. Here's the big peloton coming, well, big, 20 riders maybe a little bit more in the chasing peloton, trying to make the junction to help out their teammates. And there's a lot of riders coming back. Here they are coming back. Soderquist is in here, so he's recovered a little bit. The USA are represented as well. Belgium have got riders in here in Aaron Docks. Sitting on the back of the group is Halvor Dolven. But if there's that sort of acceleration again on this lap, how many of these riders will come back into the race? The average speed is still over 41 kilometres an hour now. 107 kilometres of racing covered on today's Under-23 World Championship. The peloton at 29 seconds. Look at the size of the crowd here now. Alvarez is our solo leader. Now, we haven't got you here for too much longer. This rider from Spain, Hector Alvarez, he looks impressive on a bike, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he's made a really good move. He only has a 25-second advantage, which means if he's not so strong on the climbs, he may be brought back, but he took a very, very good moment. And he was strong, he was fresh, but a long way out, as we see, only 25 seconds with 55 kilometres to go. It's a big task.
It is a massive task, but he's still got 25 seconds. Maybe riders might come up to him. We know he's an okay climber. He won the mountains classification in Giro del Regione Friuli. He won that back in September. He was also 6th overall in the general classification in that race. He's ridden Burgos, he's ridden a Tour of Austria. He's done well in a number of different disciplines and different races. 18 years of age, 3rd on a stage of the Tour of Austria this season. As we look down then and we come back to him, he rides for Lidl Trek Future Racing. I was saying earlier on that now the junior riders, that's the race that all the agents want to watch, isn't it? How many agents have you seen here this morning?
The sport has changed so much. I mean, with all the development, and you mentioned earlier that teams are signing riders for very long periods of 5 or 6 years now, which didn't happen in the past.
No.
And they're taking riders from a very young age and developing them, which I think is a great thing, because you stay in the same environment, you get the best out of yourself, you don't have to keep moving teams and, you know, learning how to work with new staff and all that type of thing. So, yeah, I think it's a great thing that these teams now are signing riders very young in the juniors, and then just they've got a steady base to develop their career over the next 6 years.
And the agents are signing them at 16 years of age, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's also for the athlete. It's nice to know that you have that security of not having to find a new team or get the results. It takes that pressure away because you have that contract. You'll have your ups and downs, but yeah, there'll be a lot of scouting going on in the junior and the under-23s. It's always been the way in the under-23s, but now they're really closely looking at the juniors.
It's amazing. Soderquist has decided to go on the attack now. The world time trial champion, he's decided to try and go across to Hector Alvarez. He was dropped, and it's probably a good tactic for the heavier riders in this group and the more sort of sprinter time trial riders. Tactically, you have to think about how, like this rider here, Soderquist, how to make best use of the course, because he's not as quick as these punchy climbers on the hills, is he?
No, he's being a bigger rider, it does make it quite tough. It was interesting this morning. I was speaking with Pat McQuaid. He mentioned he can't believe Ped Madison didn't come to the World Championship.
Oh, really?
He thinks Mad Pedersen said that the course was too hard for him, more of a climber's course. I said that I think he could manage it if the distance was a little bit less.
Yeah. Because the men's race is what, 268k or something like that. It's a mammoth. The
amount of climbing accumulated over that amount of time is where they say, okay, it looks like it's a classic style riders race, a heavy classic styles race, but when you put that distance in there, then it becomes more of a kind of climbing, smaller, skinnier type rider.
Yeah. Well, this group of riders coming across 25 seconds. And they're trying to close the gap on Alvarez. Has a little rest, shakes the legs a little bit, settles himself into this left-hander. And make his way onto the next climb. He's now reached Kigali Gulf again, so he makes his way onto this rise. He'll reach the top at 51.2 kilometres of racing to go. This is the chase. Decomble of France, Scoufs, Pomorski, Dons and Soderquist. And suddenly Belgium have a different situation with Jasper Scoufs going on the move now for Belgium. Decomble is there. Soderquist can't go with the speed of the Belgian rider. This now puts the pressure back on other teams, doesn't it? Because Widar can sit in the wheels.
Yeah, I definitely think, looking back, I mean, they were very confident with their tactic, but maybe looking back, throwing out a few really, really big, strong attacks and putting pressure on other teams and riders to chase may have been a better tactic. But, you know, that this course and environment and climate makes this race so unique that it's very, very difficult to just have a set plan.
Suddenly, Alvarez is about to be caught. There's an advance party about to reach the back wheel of this rider from Spain, who's just working his way up this climb. So it looks like Jasper Skufs is coming across.
He's pulling a big peloton with him. That's what they don't want to do. They want to put a bit of, when they use their effort, they don't want it to be protecting other riders and resting on the wheel. That's what the Belgians have done today with a lot of confidence. They've been pushing the wind the entire race until this point. From Alvarez, obviously out there now being caught.
Suddenly the Italians are going backwards. This is not good news, but they've left Lorenzo Finn up there. This rider in front from the USA. Cole Kessler is being dropped as well. Everyone is fighting for survival because suddenly the key riders are making their moves. Munoz is also dropped. For Slovenia, Radbar is dropped as well. Alvarez refuses right now to let everyone come back, and he goes on the attack again. Schrettel of Austria is the rider who's going to have to close it. Lorenzo Finn of Italy is a very clever bike rider. He follows wheels, he surfs, he looks, he just doesn't do any work at all, Lorenzo Finn, that he doesn't have to do. And that's experience of a junior world champion who won solo last year. He's clever, isn't he?
Yeah, we'll only see Finn move when an attack goes from a rider that he thinks the peloton are not going to bring back, and he's the only one strong enough to jump over to it.
He's doing well so far, and now he's isolated because the rest of his teammates aren't there. But Alvarez continues. He's some bike rider, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's made a very good decision or pre-race tactic to throw out that attack and just don't worry how close they come and yo-yo or who comes over, just ride. He's got a very clear ambition.
He's going to get some company now. Looks like Schrettel might get to him, the Austrian rider. So we'll end up with two riders at the head of the race and then a group of, what's that, 20 riders behind, with another little group trying to come across. Another 6 riders.
The thing I really love about this circuit, we see the breakaways and all the team tactics and all that goes on, but this circuit, because the cobble climbs so close to the finish, it really does give the strongest rider in the race the opportunity to win. So even, you know, a lucky break that I hesitated, I didn't cover or something like that, it's this course design really does show you the strongest rider on the day. Every rider's fatigued, and it comes down to those last final laps where you see only the strongest that has managed the kilometres of this race, the distance of the race, and the day and the climate. We do get to see who is the strongest on the day on this circuit. It's not a circuit where you get a lucky winner.
Well, that's it does show who's the strongest, who's the world champion. Dolven is actually the rider from the helicopter shot. I thought it was the Austrian rider who'd gone across, but Halvor Dolven is the Norwegian. Now that we get up close, we're able to see Dolven, number 32 from Norway, has made his advance to get to Hector Alvarez. As we head towards the end of this lap, these two riders combining with just under 49 kilometres. 14 seconds to the chase. This race is far from over. How many more twists and turns are we going to have before we work out who the world champion is going to be? You get the sense, as Rochelle just said, that it is the strong riders who are now at the front. It's the ones who've got the legs, the ones who are feeling good. There's some riders hiding, playing, missing turns, following wheels when they have to.
Yeah, like some people may say, oh, Alvarez made a lucky move, but nobody could. He didn't attack and he got caught, he got brought back, and he attacked again. And we saw riders were fighting to get across to his wheel, and only one's managed. So we are seeing on this particular circuit the strongest riders take the rainbow jerseys.
17 seconds, Alvarez goes to the front, onto the cobbles again. Top of the cobbles will be 46.4 kilometres from the finish. We'll then have the run into the line, 3 laps to go that time. And we've got a bit more of a swelling of numbers as we make our way to the cobbles, but the question is how many will make it to the top of the cobbles safely in the group. Cole Kessler at the back, wearing number 71 from the United States of America. Cole Kessler right on the back of the group, the American rider. This is Soderquist. Kessler, he also rides for Lidl Trek Future Racing, so his teammate is the rider from Spain who is out the front. This is the Austrian rider this time. This is Marco Schrettel, who's been good on the cobbles every time. And Poland in the ascendancy as well, as Alvarez kicks his way up this 10% gradient. Being dropped now is Aaron Dox, number 12 from Belgium. Can't see Jano Wiedar for a little while. And being distanced also is the Slovenian rider, Rabbar, on the right-hand side. They've ridden a flat-out race, haven't they? They've not held back at all. It's just been full-on all day.
Yeah, it's been a very, very high speed, average speed here for the men's under-23 race. It's such a difficult circuit. We've seen the pace, it couldn't be any higher, you know, it's just been... Alvarez was the only one who could actually increase the pace of what the Belgians were setting, and no one was able to match him at that moment. But he's just in the zone now. He may be caught, but my opinion is he'll just keep trying and trying and trying. He's obviously very strong and feeling very good.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Here comes the Polish rider coming across. This might be Gudulovic, who's trying to get there.
He's just swung off and said, come on guys, give me a hand here. But nobody able to lift the pace.
Number 12 is dropped, Aaron Dox. We saw that a moment ago. He's still fighting to try and survive. A little group of riders coming across. One Italian rider in Lorenzo Finn, and as you said, Rochelle, Lorenzo Finn won't do any work until he feels like it's necessary, and now he feels like it's necessary because he's advancing at a very high rate. 4 riders coming across and none of them are Belgian.
Yeah, it's a good time for Finn to put his effort in to get across, because while he's hurting himself, he's also hurting the other riders. So if he was to do it on a smooth surface or a flat section, he'd be protecting the other riders. But doing it on the cobbles on a steep section, he's hurting the riders as much as he's hurting himself. So it's the best place to put his big effort in to try and close that gap to the 2 leading riders.
Good job by him. So it's Lorenzo Finn, the junior world champion of last year, who pedals his way across to Dolvin and Alvarez.
Well, these cobbles are extremely hard. I've been out there on the bike, and you can't actually, the bike's vibrating, you can see there, but I've ridden a lot of cobbles, but trying to keep traction, obviously, on a very steep section. You won't see many riders out of the seat on the cobbles, but every single thing on your bike and your hands and your muscles and your skin and your eyeballs, everything's shaking, and it just takes so much out of the body, and it's such a relief to hit the smooth surface again. So Finn flicking the arm, just saying, come on, let's just get together now and pull this back so we're all back in the race for the gold medal. So this, sorry, Anthony, this final 500 metres is extremely, extremely tough. It kicks up, and it's, you think the finish is there, but those 400, 300 and 200 metre signs. It takes so long for them to come up. But it's a climb. It's actually, it doesn't look like it, but it is a climb.
Yeah, it's a very hard finish. 6 riders in the lead now. Dolvin, Alvarez, Finn, Gudulovic, Schrettel and Huber. The Ecuadorian rider trying to come across, Mateo Ramirez. And 2 Belgian riders struggling in here now. Vidal's face is showing that this is hurting a lot. 1 Australian rider in no man's land at the back. We come up and we've got 3 laps of racing to go this time. So it is Lorenzo Finn. It just pushes on the pace a little bit more. Can Finn double up and go back to back as he asks the riders to come through? 3 laps of racing to go as we approach 3 hours. The average speed 41.229, so it's speeded up considerably. They've added 0.2 of a kilometre an hour to the speed, and on that course that's a lot. Coming across then Ramirez, Enriquez, De Comble, Marti, also Bock, Schwarzbacher, also in there Lareg. Not too many riders left. Söderqvist has kept himself in that group of riders. Through the feed. This time in the race, all about water, or is it electrolytes, or is it a mix, or is it carbs still? How do the riders decide with only 3 laps to go?
A lot of the hydration with electrolytes would have been started a few days ago. It was really, really important here to stay hydrated, but there will be no doubt that electrolytes are the #1 priority of hydration throughout this race. So they've got 2 feed zones on the circuit where the riders have an opportunity to take bottles. Finn there just asking for a little bit of help, and he actually looks, to me, he looks very fresh and good.
He does, doesn't he?
He does.
You look at the other riders in here, and there's some faces being pulled. He looks so in control.
I tell you what, the Belgians will be so disappointed that they're not in that group, and they found themselves all over the place. I had an opportunity to have a quick chat at breakfast with Ton van Dam, who is the president of Belgian cycling, and he was quite confident they were going to win the gold medal here in the under-23 men's race today. However, at this point, it looks like they're out of the game.
Well, at the moment, they are out of the game, but it's... I just wonder about that tactic. We've talked about it a lot. It just looked like it was using up all your matches very, very early. And if they'd waited and let the other teams take control, the likes of Tim Rex, who did what? Such a massive day on the front. If he had legs like that today, to be able to do that much work on the front, in the final of this race, if they'd kept him, would he have had the legs to right now be at the front with a couple of riders?
That's a big question, Anthony, because what he did was phenomenal.
Yeah.
To be pulling that high pace on the front for 100 kilometres here is unbelievable. So it is a, you know, he could have been the strongest in the race. They used him up as a teammate.
Well, you have to make a call. The team managers have to make a call, and clearly they decided that all eyes were on one rider and one rider only. Tactically, hasn't worked yet, but they could still rescue it. They've still got riders in the chase group as Lorenzo Finn goes into the aero tuck and says to Alvarez, come through and work. Schrettel is there. They're fully committed. Also in this group is Jan Huber of Switzerland. Behind him is number 23, Gudulovic, and then it's the Norwegian rider, Dolvin. Where's number 32 in that red jersey with a big blue stripe across the back? Lorenzo Finn goes into the back position, takes another drink. He has been drinking constantly in this race, pouring water over his head, taking a drink, keeping himself really hydrated. In comparison to everybody else, it's been more noticeable than anyone.
It shows me that he has the energy to do that, because a lot of riders are not doing that just simply because they're too fatigued. And he looks comfortable, the Italian Finn. He'll be very happy that he hasn't got Weeder there to contend with. It will give him a confidence boost. He will just hope that these riders all know that their opportunity for a medal at this World Championships is now. Let's keep the pace high, and they seem to be all working well together.
So Schrettel tucks in on the back. He's got quite an unusual style on the bike, Schrettel. He did ride for Trinity Racing back in 2022. He now rides for Tyrrell KTM. This is Belgium trying to rescue this race. Camille Eamon behind him. He's got number 15, Jasper Skufs, and then Jarno Weidar, their favourite. And they are burying themselves to try and bring this race back together. They have had 20 kilometres of a barrage of attacks from other riders once they sensed that maybe Belgium weren't as strong as everybody thought they were in the early stages. France still have two riders in there, Winter Comble and Lulerg. Heading our way down towards Kigali Golf. We're going to hit there in about 5 kilometres. 4 kilometres now to Kigali Golf. And then we set ourselves up for the 2 climbs yet again. But everybody's contributing here, Rochelle. Totally different squads. Everyone knows there's medals at hand, and everybody is fully into this breakaway now.
Yeah, I think these riders will give everything that they've got, because if they sit up, then the dynamics of this race completely change again. But this is an opportunity for every one of these riders to potentially win a medal at the World Championship. So all willing to put in the hard work. Well, today.
He's gone. It's game over for number 13, Camille Eamon. He's finished. He is absolutely exhausted. If Belgium don't get back to the front, you can't fault Tim Rex, Camille Eamon, and the workers in that squad. They have done everything they can. So there's our group. We cast our eyes back, and there's the chase. It looks a lot now on that descent, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's difficult to make up time on the descent because they'll both be doing the same type of speeds, front group and the chase group. Oh, this is a big effort. Oh, the Swiss rider.
Yeah,
really everything he's got.
He is, because these 3 riders are going away. The 3 strongest riders in the break. Lorenzo Finn has decided time to change the game. Do you get the feeling this Italian rider's fully in control of everything that happens at the front of this bike race?
Yeah, I think, he would have got a massive confidence boost from the tactics of the Belgium team, because that was really a card that was played into the hands of the Italian team, and he would have a massive confidence boost from that, and the way it's played out now, I think mentally he'll feel like, when we get to 30 kilometres to go, we call that in a long race, road race, that's the business end of the bike race. With 30 kilometres to go now, they've got 38 kilometres to go, and he's decided, right, now it's time to make this race.
And he's with the 2 strongest riders, clearly. I don't know about the Norwegian. To me, he seems like he might be just hiding a little bit. But the 3 at the front seem to just have that effort, that pace. And every time the road goes uphill, they're at the front, 52 kilometres an hour. Alvarez is the rider who takes that corner first. We head towards Kigali Golf this time. This is the fast section, 64 kilometres an hour. The chase is now at 30 seconds, so they're not coming back at all. They come up to the board, they're able to see, and in the back background, there is no sign of any riders.
You just saw Finn. He took a look and he knows that this is the group. This is the move. One interesting about the World Championships here, when we talk about the race tactics of this team and the race tactics of Belgium, is that at the World Championships they don't have race radio communication. So if the team director had identified that they were making a mistake and wanted them to change tactics earlier, it wouldn't be possible to get that information to the riders, and they're used to racing with race radios. But being at the World Championships, they eliminate that to make it a more fair race, a more exciting race. They eliminate the race radios, so it's not so scientifically guided by a race team director back in the race car, and riders have to make decisions for themselves. That's a timing board there, just to let them know they have a 25-second advantage on the chasers.
The fact they don't have race radios, we've seen in the past, haven't we, sports directors in the pits with boards and things trying to give bits of information. But there's no way of them saying, come back to the team car, talk to me, I need to give you some information. It's all left to the riders' own devices, isn't it? And I wonder whether Belgium would have changed their tactic at some point.
Yeah, I think many years ago, having people from your team placed around the circuit with boards of communication was a really big thing that might have been overlooked on this circuit. Could have been very helpful.
Yeah, could have been.
It's just a matter of whether the riders would have the energy or focus to catch what's on that board. It's quite hard to find a place on this course where you can actually get an opportunity to read something on the side of the road under so much pressure all the time in every single part of this circuit. Yeah, Finn looks very composed, doesn't he?
It does. There's only 3 more climbs of this to go. This is one of them. 14% its gradient. Schrettel is the rider on the front. He's won the All Nations Grand Prix. He's had a number of different places. He was 3rd on a stage of the Tour de l'Avenir. What happened there?
I think chain drop or...
No, he's finished. He's done. He's
just
completely exhausted. Belgium have no riders left. This is Jasper Scoops. He's done what he can. And he's all over the place. The Norwegian has given us the answer. He's not hiding. He just doesn't have the legs. So Dolphin looks around. Also being dropped is Gadulovic. And Lorenzo Finn has decided, right, let's make everyone hurt again. He's doing this at will. He is the rider with the script of today. He's the rider who is deciding every single move in this bike race now. It's very, very impressive to watch. Gadulovic has gone. Finn presses on. He's got 3 riders with him. In Schrettel, the Swiss rider Huber, and Alvarez is there again. Here's the chase, if there is a chase, 38 seconds, and it is totally now down to Jarno Widar to do everything he can to bring this back, because no one of the rider is going to help him. They're going to use him up, Rochelle, until he drops as well. Unfortunately, Belgium have laid this out as that's the plan.
I think Widar's best opportunity is to put his maximum effort in on the climbs. On this lap, they have still the cobble climb coming into the finish where he could really try to close his gap. But I'm just really not sure, Anthony, if he has the legs today to do that. If the riders in the lead in the breakaway work well together, it'll be a very hard task.
There's one more rider going to come back. Gadulovic is fighting and trying to come back. Look at the gap. You can see this bike race is all about the front now. 47 seconds to the group of the strongest riders in this under-23 World Championships. Gadulovic is coming across the entire group. Look at the 2 Spanish riders sitting behind Jarno Widar, just looking around thinking, well, keep on going because we're just going to sit here now.
That's frustrating for Weida because, in fact, I think there should be a contribution from the other nations to pull this back, because if they don't, I don't think it's possible for Weida. We can see that the lead is actually going out further and further, a second here and there.
Alvarez is working. So Spain won't chase, but there's a number of other nations in that chasing group who could. France in particular, they've got 2 riders. They could maybe decide to sacrifice a rider, but I would imagine they're just thinking, let Weida burn himself out and then we'll decide what to do. Lorenzo Finn swings his way back onto the group of riders.
Yeah.
Italy have done a great job today.
Finn was making a point, I think, to the lead riders that are with him, that I'm not going to do everything here. We have to, if you want to be in a medal chance, we all have to contribute. And again, he's taking a gel, so he's really still in control.
Just taking his time, deciding what happens next. Kudulovic is at the back. He's not able to work. Lorenzo Finn in that aero tuck. Kudulovic pours water over his back to try and cool himself down a little bit. Finn is just having to close the gap on the 3 riders in front who are riding pretty hard.
Well, he let that gap go because he wanted to say to every single rider, everyone has to contribute here, you're not going to sit on. But then he realised there was one rider that's not going to contribute, and that gap happened. And unfortunately, he has to do the work now just to close that gap.
In the chasing group, Max Bock of Germany, De Comble of France, Leroux of France, Weida of Belgium, Marti and Pericas of Spain, Omzel of Slovenia, Donza of Switzerland, Lopez is in there for Portugal, Ramirez is in there as well, Schwarzbacher and Bravo of Brazil. That's the chasing group of riders. Coming around then to complete another lap. We're almost at the end of this lap and we'll have 2 laps to go. We're at 74 kilometres an hour as we make our way down this descent to complete this lap, and then we rise uphill, of course, on the cobbled section. We're nearly there now. We're about 400 metres from the cobbles. Finn is back at the front. And as we expected, France have decided that maybe they should put one rider on the front and ride for the other. De Comble is the rider they look like they're going to bank everything on.
So what I really love about this World Championships is the no race radios, where the riders do have to communicate directly to each other about how they're feeling and anticipate the race themselves rather than getting feedback and instructions from the team car. However, if new viewers are wondering what is under the saddle of every single rider, they have a communication device which is for safety reasons. The UCI have a control centre where they get every single piece of information of every rider, and if there is a safety issue, they can relay that to the team director, and then it's a matter of getting that information to the rider. But it's a purely safety device, but it gives a lot of information to the UCI's control centre, which can be conveyed to the team director.
And that control centre is situated to our left-hand side, a load of people in there. 47 seconds as Lorenzo Finn stamps his way up the cobbles now. France come on to the next cobbled section, and as you said, Rochelle, the only way that Weida is going to come into the race is to go on the move on the cobbles, and that's what Weida has decided to do. So he's tried to save a little bit of energy. 44 seconds is the gap, and suddenly Weida is the rider who is trying to close this quickly.
Since Weida hit the cobbles, he's taken 2 seconds out of that lead group. So let's see at the top of this cobbled section how many seconds he's been able to gain on the leaders.
Well, look look at this. Lorenzo Finn has decided he's going clear. Finn has attacked on the cobbles. 32 kilometres to go. He goes clear. What a ride this is.
He goes clear, but he's only made an advantage of 3 seconds on the lead group.
So he pedals his way up towards the top of this section now. Counter-attack from Switzerland, number 36. This is Huber. Trying to go. This is this little flat section, isn't it? And then it kicks up again.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it flat. It doesn't feel on the cobbles being so bumpy, and you know your legs are full of lactic acid. But this might be the winning move of the World Championships for the under-23 men.
He's just riding away, Lorenzo Finn. He's getting chased a little bit by Huber of Switzerland. Suddenly Alvarez isn't able to go with the moves. Gudulovic can't either. They're all sitting on. Jano Vida with a Spanish team sitting behind. Do they now contribute? Because they don't know whether Alvarez is there or not. So it's Lorenzo Finn, the solo leader of this World Championship for Italy. Behind him, Huber is fighting his way onto the wheel of the fast-moving Italian, which could be good news for the Italian because he would be able to use him and help and work with him on the next lap of racing. It's a long, long way out.
Such a tough circuit, such a long race that we're now seeing Finn clearly the strongest in the bike race. One rider from Switzerland able to match him on the cobble climbs. 33 kilometres to go in this bike race. When they get to the top of this cobble climb, that makes 4 more climbs. We know he looks like he's the strongest on the climbs. He's just going to have to ride now as hard as he can right to the finish and hope that he gets there alone.
Alvarez over the top with Gudulovic and Schrettel. Now they need to chase. 1 kilometre to go to the end of this lap. The gap is 13 seconds that Finn and Huber have made. Then behind it is the group of Guida. It will be interesting to see whether he's made any inroads to the move of the Italian Lorenzo Finn. The Italians just sat with the remote control for the entire first 70 or 80 kilometres, maybe even longer than that, until they decided to start to rip this race up. Here they come, and Guida has done everything he can, and look at him on the left-hand side.
He's in trouble.
You have to feel for this Belgian now. He doesn't have the legs. He's in all sorts of pain. He fights his way onto the back of the group. As they make the top, these riders are already coming to the finish line. Finn looks around. Huber shakes his head a little bit. 58 seconds. The gap's gone out, Rochelle.
Yeah,
it was 43.
I think these two riders are going to go for the gold and silver. I think Finn's going to be hard to beat, but he's not going to get a lot of help. So he's going to have to, with 4 climbs left, he's going to have to drop the Swiss rider. And I think he's capable of it. He looks composed.
Finn and Huber are the 2 leaders of this World Championship as they make their way round to complete this lap with 2 laps of racing to go. They go across the line. The average speed now has gone up again, 41.464 kilometres an hour. Here's the chase with Schrettel, with Alvarez and Gudulovic. They go across the line at 15 seconds. And then Jano Guida and the rest of the group, led by France and Ecuador, are making their way up here now, and the gap is going to be about a minute with 2 laps of racing remaining. Here they come. The boards are being banged, the crowd are expectant. 2 laps to go after 3 hours and 14 minutes of racing. And everything that's been done by Belgium today, unfortunately, has crumbled away. France now are trying to rescue the medals. 53 seconds is the advantage with 2 laps to go. Coming up to a minute now and it is going to be over a minute. It was 43, and Widar is hanging on for dear life at the back. They go past the commentary box, and the hopes of Belgium have crumbled. 2 laps to go. Rochelle, just to say thank you to you. Thanks for joining us for the last, hour and a half or so. It's been great to hear your comments, and we'll see you tomorrow for the women's race.
Thank you, Anthony. It's been an absolute pleasure, and now I have some obligations, but I don't want to take my eyes off this bike race. But I'll have to leave you, and I'll have to watch the replay of the finish of this race, because it's, in my opinion, Finn looks really, really good. Huber is doing exactly what Finn needs him to do. Just contribute a bit on the flat, on the smooth surface, and I'll give it all. I've got it on the climbs. If you can match me, good on you, buddy. So, yeah, thank you, Anthony. It's been a pleasure, and we'll be back for the women's racing tomorrow.
2 leaders, thanks, Rochelle. This race is on now. 105 is the gap to the big chase. 20 seconds to these 3 chasers. Well, Alvarez was the rider who started to make the moves first. He's still in with a chance of the medals as we see this rider from Brazil come back. This is Henrique Ribeiro Bravo. He's still in with a chance of the medals here for Brazil. Doing a great ride today. It's flat out on this section of the course. 2 laps to go. Widar on the back. Cars coming up now. Looks like some of the team cars coming up to have a little chance to have a chat. The first chance on this part of the course to actually have a conversation. And it's the team car of Spain. On the front of the race, Lorenzo Finn, the Italian rider. Well, he's Italian-British, isn't he? His dad is from Sheffield, and his mum is from Italy. He has been the rider who's decided how this race plays out. It's very rare to see a rider so young in so much control. He's been able to just decide, let's make a move here, let's make a move there, let's see how things develop. There's the timeline of what's going on behind these 2 leaders. At the moment, going for the medals, Alvarez, Gadulovic and Schrettel. They've still got a chance of catching these 2 leaders if they keep pushing on. Gadulovic hasn't given up. They can still see them in front of them. Can they close the gap? But the big story is back here and this chase, as everybody looks at Jarno Widar, and Belgium maybe gave the indication that they had total faith in winning this race today, because everybody else is watching the Belgian rider. Sometimes tactics work, sometimes they just don't work out. Riders are human, they're not able to do everything you want them to do. Lorenzo Finn rides for the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe rookies. He's with Jan Huber. Huber is a Swiss rider. 11th in the Tour de l'Avenir. He is no slouch when it comes to bike racing. It's not a surprise that he's up here. Tour de l'Avenir of 2025, he was behind Paul Sexas, Jarno Widar, Jordan Norgan, Lorenzo Finn, Maxime de Comble, Pablo Torres. Jan Huber was 11th overall, behind some incredible competition in that Tour de l'Avenir. Can they continue to work together? 19 seconds. Gadulovic trying everything he can get to get himself back to the front. What a bike race this has been. Well, back in this group, we can see him, Enrique Bravo. He's riding superbly, isn't he? He joined the Soudal Quick-Step team at the beginning of the season. Of course, he comes from a football region where it's all about soccer. Comes from Nova Lima, lies 500 kilometers from the Atlantic Ocean. He rode mountain biking in his career. He's a good climber, the young Brazilian, and he's doing well here. He now spends his time living in Girona, where so many other bike riders do. But he's doing Brazil proud this afternoon. If you just joined us now, this is the race situation. Jan Huber in the red and white, Lorenzo Finn in the colours of Italy. Can he bring home back-to-back wins for Italy in World Championships? He was the junior world champion last year in Zurich. You may remember he rode that one superbly as well. Here's the rundown of Jan Huber, 20 years of age. This is a big moment for this Swiss rider. We've seen him develop. We've seen him having third places in his national championships. The Tour de l'Avenir potentially was the turning point for Jan Huber in his career so far. Before that, he was a progressing and developing bike rider. But here, being at the front of a world championship at this point in the race is a big move for this rider. Swiss cycling is starting to again produce some fantastic bike riders. Mark Hirschi was the winner here in 2018. 2.7 kilometers of racing to go. We're about 900 meters from the base of Kigali Gulf for the penultimate time. In the chasing group of riders, we've got Maxime de Comble, Adria Poricas, Pablo Ramirez, Robin Donza, Victor Laruga, Max Bock, Pau Marti. We've got Jacobo Mrazel, Halva Dolven, Lucas Lopez, and we've got Jana Widar. Also in that group now, Enrique Ribeiro Bravo. Well, if you've been with me all day, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a long day of bike racing. We've had two exceptional bike races today, and this one is just boiling to its conclusion. On to the climb of Kigali then. Can these riders close this gap at all? So close, they can still kind of see the riders in front of them. But now Lorenzo Finn is pedalling his way up this climb, and he's doing what he did last year. It's almost a mirror of what happened in the junior road race last year. He was with one rider, he attacked them and left them behind. He went on to solo to victory. Look at Jan Huber's face. It's hurting a lot, but he's doing everything he can to stay there. He dreams of a medal here for Switzerland. Finn glances across. We're coming up towards the bell soon. We're going to get to the base of the cobbled climb at 17.5 kilometers to go. The chasing group of riders are now at 1:26. Speed is still up over 41 kilometers an hour. That's where things are going on. That's the leading group and the chasers out on the course. Italy have got a good record in these World Championships, this under-23 race. Banoncini winning in 21, Battistella winning in 19. This would give Italy a massive morale boost ahead of the weekend. They've got big hopes tomorrow in the women's race. They've got big hopes on Sunday. Downhill for Huber into that turn. Finn in second place. We come up now.
But looking pretty stable and strong right now is Jan
to the
Huber.
final cobbles before we head towards the bell.
Working.
Finn goes to the front, presses on a little bit more. He seems to know exactly on the course where to make the difference, where to have the advantage over everybody else. Dulovic is still doing a lot of work for Poland. He has done his country proud this afternoon. It's exceptionally warm now. It really is a lot hotter than it was when this race started. It's intense here in Kigali now. Fantastic racing roads though. Everyone knows just what the surface has been like. It's been stunning. But the cobbles are the bone shakers, the horrible bit of this race. So it's Lorenzo Finn, Jan Huber, being chased by Hector Alvarez, Gadulovic and Schrettel. Those are the three chasers. Behind a group of 12 riders who are now at 1:36. 70 kilometers an hour into the aero tuck, downhill towards the bottom of Kimihurura for the penultimate time. There's a chance to see the group led by France.
Iki rero ni igikundi cya gatatu barimo gusiga umunota n'amasegonda 39 hafi 40. Bigaragara ko cyasigaye nibwo kigira ngaha rero
Finn just with a couple of bike lengths on this descent. Lorenzo Finn, who was at school in Genoa, he's from Liguria. Onto the cobbles now for the penultimate time. What is the scenario going to be on here? Finn starts to really push the pace. He attacked here on a couple of occasions. At 39 kilometres he attacked here at 32 on these cobbles last time. He has exploded this race. Now he starts to really ramp up the tempo as he pedals his way. Look at Huber. He's just concentrating on that back wheel, as though everything in life depends on staying on that little piece of rubber that's in front of him. Mentally, Huber is so strong, you can tell that. It's pure concentration. Schrettel, the shoulders going left and right. Huber's shoulders. But he's exhausted, but he's still there. The Swiss rider is having an immense day. Lorenzo Finn checks under his arms there to see whether there's still a wheel. It's there, but it's about a metre away as Huber fights his way back on. Pained legs, lungs burning, heart rate very, very high. The helicopter shot shows you a rider who's in control and a rider who dreams of at least getting a medal in this World Championship. Finn knows he could do with a rider. Well, this rider has been a rider of the day. Hector Alvarez is now distanced. It is Schrettel and Gadulovic who go forward. Finn now onto a little bit of respite. Huber. Finn looks around. He wants some company. You get that sense. Number 36, Huber. In their aero speed suits. You cannot imagine how much this is hurting Huber right now. This is like absolute the worst feeling you can have. You're in a world of hurt, a very dark place, and yet you know if you can just stay there and let your body do what you don't expect your body can do, then you might win a World Championship. He can still win the gold medal here, Huber. Finn checks again over his shoulder. He knows he's still there. The Shimano neutral service car looking after these two riders behind them. 220 metres of painful cobbles remain. Then they go across the top. Then it's about the run to the bell. It's amazing what the mind can make the body do. Huber has made it to the top of the cobbles. He's absolutely on his limit staying with the Italian. There are only two major climbs left in this World Championship. The riders are heading to the bell. We're at 20 to 4 in the afternoon. We've had a massive day of bike racing here in Kigali. Schrettel wants to get rid of Alvarez, who is still fighting in the background. They're over the top of the cobbles now. They head their way now towards the bell. These two riders have been together now for 17 kilometres as they make their way to the conclusion of the penultimate lap. In about 20 minutes' time, we're going to know who's the world champion at under 23. Switzerland and Italy are the two teams that have done the job to be at the front. Lorenzo Finn and Jan Huber. Fantastic bike racing. 1 lap to go. They get the bell. That is a welcome sound, I'm sure. Let's see what the gaps are going to be. The average speed now has gone up even more. 41.563 kilometres an hour since Finn